Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, October 16th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App, $ ORION NWSF, or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Dallas Cowboys, we damn boys, versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Should be a good one. Dak Prescott versus my boy Justin Herbert. Go Ducks. We will see what we get tonight. Let's get into the people that are in the room, and we'll end up showing a few photos here, I would assume, before we get into it. And on the thumb, I got Micah Parsons on the left, and my boy J Herb, Justin Herbert, on the right. Let's go, baby. I'm ready. I am ready. Megan in the building early, obviously showing that love and support. And here's hoping the Kraken can wipe the floor with the Avs at home tomorrow. Well, we need it, because if not, we're going to go 0-4, and that's going to be a terrible start. Now, can we still end up making the playoffs, starting off 0-4, 0-5? I believe so, but the Gru isn't really necessarily the problem. It's the goal scorers. We have to be able to find a correct line to be able to have more than just one or two guys that can score. And even that might be a stretch this season so far. Some of these other teams like the Vegas Golden Knights, they got like 5 to 8 guys that can score within the lineup. And I'm not saying we have to be them, but if we can get closer to maybe having 4 or 5 guys that could score each game in and game out, one guy, maybe it's going to be Bjorkstrand, and then the next time maybe it's Maddie. We need to be able to figure it out, and hopefully we can. But I do appreciate your $20 holla. And let me know what you want to do for photos. I got a few prepped here for you, and I'll be able to take care of you. So let me know. I got a combination of some Hawks and as well as a little bit of hack for you. So I got you. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $20 holla. 80 to go to hit the goal. Let's go, baby. Absolutely. And let them know. Don't forget to hit the like. Absolutely. And, I've been putting in a lot of work. A lot of these, reaction videos that I do, some will hit the algorithm, some will not. But at least I know that I'm giving it my all. Plus, I'm able to be smarter about everything that I'm doing, because I'm able to watch more film than most people. Most people aren't willing to watch every single game, or at least even watch highlight packages for the games that they missed. So it gives me an opportunity to kind of give my 2 cents, kind of break things down. And I'm going to come up with great predictions. I do it almost every day. I told y'all if the Texas Rangers went up 2-0 that they were going to go to the World Series. And then fast forward until today. What is it? Texas Rangers up 2-0. Obviously, and both of the games were in Houston. That one's a wrap. So 2 more games. Even if Houston ends up winning 1, in Texas, it's going to be the Texas Rangers in the World Series. I assume against the Philadelphia Phillies. And if my ESP, would be correct, I think it's pretty even between the Rangers and Phillies. But it feels like this could be Philadelphia's year. Now, if Rangers end up winning the World Series, good for them. Anyone besides the Astros will make me happy. But I have a feeling that Philadelphia might be able to take it this season. Let them know. Let them know. Let them know. Sarah in the building. What's good? How are you? Michael in the building. What's good? Fly, Eagles, fly. How are you? And remember, like I was trying to talk to Zini Panini last night, and a lot of Eagle fans and Niner fans that are distraught. You have to understand, with Schwartz, doing the defense for the Browns, Moody missed 2 kicks. McCaffrey got hurt. Debo got hurt. Trent Williams got hurt. The best teams in the NFL typically lose 3 to 4 games in a season. This was your first loss. RELAX. Relax. It'll be all right. As long as the injuries are not season ending, you'll be okay. Moody missed 2 field goals. And a big part of that is he had his whole family there. He had about 20 people, mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, sisters, brothers, cousins. And maybe it was a little bit of more pressure than he anticipated. Moody normally won't miss 2 kicks, and I assume that he won't do that often moving forward. And then for the Philadelphia Eagles, you lost to the Jets. You played a game that was very lackluster, but it shows you the Philadelphia Eagles have a first-place schedule. If you play a team that has a top 10 defense with the Niners, Cleveland Browns, top 10 D. If you play the Jets, the offense stinks with Zach Wilson, right? But the defense is top 10 typically. So, every once in a while, if the offense gets a little stagnant, it is possible for a team that has PJ Walker at quarterback over Deshaun Watson for the Browns to beat the Niners. We saw it yesterday. It is possible for Zach Wilson and the Jets, to beat a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, it was just kind of a weird week overall, but it shows you anybody can beat anyone on any given Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. And that's why we love this game called the NFL. Big facts. $20 hairs. Let's get to a hundo. Sarah with a 3 here. Let's go. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $3 holla. Let me know what you want to do for photos as well, and I got you. Oh, I'm going to get you some. Absolutely. Okay, I got you. All right, let me first start off with some of the photos that I have, and then I'll get some other ones prepped there before we get into the stream. So first, let's start off with some Seahawks for you. I know it was tough, and coincidentally, it was the team that you guys played there with the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Seahawks are a better team, but when you go on the road, sometimes it's a little tough. It doesn't mean that the Seahawks are a bad team. A lot of really good teams lost to teams that weren't as good as them, and sometimes that happens in the NFL. The Seahawks will be fine. Like I said, there still is a chance that the Seahawks win the NFC West or get closer to winning the NFC West. And if they end up getting second place and they get into the wild card, they're going to be in the same position as the Buccaneers, where we may not be the best team. Maybe the Lions and the Niners or the Eagles are better, but Seattle and Tampa Bay should be able to get into the dance. And as long as we get into the dance, anything is possible. Big facts. So I got a little Zorn and a little Argent there for you. Let's flip the script here. And then we'll go to Kraken here for you as well. Let me hit you with a few hacks just to get it into your system. So you can see that handsome mustache right there. All right. And then obviously clean shaven hack. And then I threw in a little Matty. And then let me try to get a tie in here for you. And a Yamamoto as well. I'm not sure how many Yamamotos I got, so I'll have to take a quick look. But give me a sec here. I got a tie group photo. All right, Ty, I see you. And let me see what I got here with the Yamamoto, and then we'll get Sarah's, and we'll keep it moving. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot just yet. But one thing that I did realize is that he's actually from Spokane, Tyler Yamamoto. So that's kind of cool, a hometown guy, that ended up playing, in another location, and then we ended up bringing him in. And anytime you get a hometown bred guy, obviously it's going to be able to, give you those hometown vibes, right? So there's one that I have there for you. And I imagine once we get further into season, we're going to have more Kraken opportunities. But for whatever reason, there's just not a lot of opportunities here. But let me see. I mean, a lot of the unis, it just has him in the Edmonton jersey. I don't really have a whole lot of options here. So I think we're going to probably have to wait, for him to be able to get a few more games in. And then we'll be able to probably find, some more opportunities for some better photos of him once he actually is in the Kraken uniform. But that's one of the nicer ones that I was able to find right there. Appreciate you. Let me see what other ties I can find here for you. And especially when you're new, to a team, sometimes it does take a little time, to kind of get things situated with the photographers and whatnot. So, and it's early, we've only played a couple games. We're only 3 games in. So, and then we got our 4th game tomorrow. We cannot go 0-4. There's another one for you. I appreciate you. And I got a couple different spinning logos. We got the Chargers. I even got one with the Los Angeles Chargers underneath the Thunderbolt. So I got 2 there. All right. So each team, whenever they got the ball. And then we got one for the Cowboys as well. $23 hairs. Let's get to a hundo. Let's do it. Yadier Molina. Okay, I got you. Yeah, you guys have a lot of injuries as well, and it might have been the Jets Super Bowl beating you guys, but this is just going to be a harsh reality. And you know how I am. I always read, I always watch film, and I'm not sure if you peeked ahead and looked at the schedule. There is a big opportunity for the Eagles to have a little bit of a letdown. If you look at the next 8 games on the schedule, literally, there is an opportunity where the Eagles could lose. I'm not saying they will, but there's an opportunity to lose maybe 5 out of those next 8 games. If you look at the schedule, this is not a last place schedule or third place schedule that you guys had last year. This is a first place schedule. So anytime you have a first place schedule, it gets tough. And if you actually look at the schedule, it doesn't look good for you guys. I'm not saying that you guys are going to go on a downward spiral and not make the playoffs. I still think you guys are going to win the NFC East, but there are going to be a few games that you may lose that you think you're going to win, and maybe ones that you think that, oh, we got this. We got this, or maybe we'll lose this game, and then you end up winning. But a lot of them, I think, with Eagle fans, they think they're going to win every single game, and we know that's not realistic. Even the great teams are going to lose 3 to 4 games in a year. It's pretty rare, even at this stage with 17 games, for a team to go 15-2. Hell, even 14-3 is a little odd. Normally 13-4, 12-5, somewhere in that general range is a kind of the sweet spot. Unless you end up being some team like the Patriots when they had Tom Brady and like Randy Moss. But I'm not sure if we really have a team like that playing today in 2023. And like I was mentioning, I kept telling y'all that the Detroit Lions, I thought, were the 3rd best team in the NFL because they have good balance on the offense and the defense. And lo and behold, the sports gods were like, you know what, O-Dog? Eagles lose, Niners lose, Lions beat your Bucks. Boom. Now you got a 3-way tie for first place in the NFL at 5-1. I try to tell y'all, some people want to argue, some people want to not believe what I say, but continuously stream in, stream out, game in, game out. I don't predict everything. All right. I'm not saying I know everything, but if you actually listen to what I say, a lot of the stuff that I say does come true, and it's not a coincidence. Big facts. Let's go. And there's a long ways away, from now into the end of the season. But I definitely think the teams that have balance are going to be the ones that are going to be the most dangerous as far as on the AFC side. The Chiefs have problems with their wide receivers and their defense. The Bills don't have a defense anymore. Now that means that the Miami Dolphins can pounce. They may end up making the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, even though their defense is suspect at times. And the team that I'm looking at that kind of reminds me of a poor man's Detroit Lions is the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you look at their team, they have very good balance on the offense and the defense as long as Trevor's knee can hold up. So don't be surprised if the Jags end up making the AFC Championship game this year, next year, or the following year. Now, do I think that they are leaps and bounds beyond all the other AFC teams? No, but if you saw, they ended up beating the Bills in London. The defense isn't really there. So this is a very good opportunity for teams like the Jags and the Dolphins to pounce when the Bills and the Chiefs aren't really that good this year. The NFC got the best teams. The AFC are kind of pretenders. I really feel that the champion is going to come to the NFC for the Lombardi this season. Big facts. All right, let me keep scrolling down. Yeah, Japanese, absolutely. Yamamoto is a Japanese last name, like me. Hybrid in the building. What's good? Yeah, and I watched that game, and to me, when I watch that team, the defense isn't as good as they have been in years past. And I feel with Lamar, he doesn't get the ball to Mark Andrews enough. I feel, and that's not just necessarily because I got Mark Andrews in fantasy, but when they're really, really good, they pound the rock, they get good, obviously yards on the ground. You got Gus the Bus Edwards, and you got Justice Hill, and those guys are okay. It's not J.K. Dobbins or when they had Mark Ingram when he was a little bit healthier, but it just seems like they need a better running back. They do running back by committee. Offensive line is kind of shaky. Lamar is kind of running around with his head cut off a little too much. You got Zay Flowers, who I like, the rookie. Odell is definitely past his prime, but he can still make some plays. But I feel for them to be really successful, they need to go to Mark Andrews. If Mark Andrews is a top 3 tight end in the league, why don't you act like it? Because some games, I feel like they barely go to him. And this guy is one of the best tight ends in the entire NFL. Yeah, you got Travis Kelce. Yeah, you got Sam Laporta this year. And you got Kittle and Mark Andrews. Why the hell are you not getting that guy 10 targets a game? I get it. You want to go to Zay, you want to go to Odell, but who's actually going to catch the damn ball? Mark Andrews will. And he's good at yards after the catch. So that's another kind of sleeper team that, not a lot of people are talking about. Same thing also goes with the Houston Texans. Don't be surprised if they get close to the Jags and almost win the division or make the wild card. I definitely think that the Texans have a shot. But again, I call it how I see it. And the best teams in the NFL always have the best balance. So when I look at the 4 teams right now that, to me, have the best balance: Eagles, Niners, Lions, Jaguars. Those are the teams that have the best balance on both sides of the ball. Now, the only team that doesn't fit that scheme is the Miami Dolphins. Their defense is a little suspect, but it's not as bad, I feel, as the Chiefs or the Bills from game in and game out. And sometimes the Chief defense can be good with Chris Jones. I think their defense is better than the Bills. But you notice, with Buffalo, he went to London, Tre'Davious White out for the year, right? Matt Milano out for the year. They have a few starters out. They got exposed last night. They almost lost to the Giants. So the year that they were supposed to get off the hump and get past the Kansas City Chiefs, they're not going to do it. They're not going to be able to do it, because I'll tell you, if we get to the playoffs and there's no other serious injuries, I would put money that Miami and Jacksonville could end up beating, Kansas City or Buffalo. Now, Kansas City has enough to be able to get past Miami and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But with Buffalo, I feel that, they're not even, I think, I don't even know what to really rank them. There might be another team, but I would say they're one of the top 5 teams in the AFC, but they are no longer the number 2 team behind Kansas City. I would definitely be putting up Miami, Jacksonville, and then Kansas City towards the top. And then below those, I would have Buffalo looking up. And until they can get that defense figured out, they're going to get upset. And then you got teams like the Chargers and the Ravens that are going to be good. They're going to be floating around. Someone's got to win it out of the AFC North, whether that's Cincinnati or someone else. But it just doesn't really feel very strong in the AFC. Now, on top of that, they never really had good defenses primarily. And now you're getting exposed that it's offense. But even the offenses don't look very good besides the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. Other than that, everyone else's offense in the AFC is kind of bootios, right? And they have the better quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But in this league, you got to be able to have that O-line, D-line, defense coaching, play calling. And so for me, when I'm looking at teams, I like to be able to look at a well-rounded team. And the NFC has got many more quality teams than the AFC. But anytime you have a guy like Mahomes or Josh Allen or a Herbert or a Burrow, someone of that nature, or maybe even a Trevor Lawrence, that might be good enough to be able to win it all at some point. But again, at some point, these defenses are going to win the championship. And that's why I was so shocked that Philly didn't win last year. I figured that they would end up getting to Mahomes like Tampa did in my Super Bowl, but they weren't even able to get one sack or one pick. If they end up making the Super Bowl this year, they're going to have to get, things situated, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. I'm just giving you guys my insight, and I feel that a lot of people, they don't see it. I usually see things about a week or a month ahead of schedule. Nice hit. Everyone that can see, the Detroit Lions are good. I've been saying that shit since preseason. You know what I mean? Like, Jags. Once I see it, you got to be able to let everyone know what it is. And then the national media and everyone else will bandwagon off the statements once they actually see the wins, or in this case, the losses between the Eagles and Niners, and then that win against Tampa. And then, oh, wow, look, all 3 teams are 5-1. Well, no shit. They're very, very good. All right, here we go, baby. Let me refresh the scoreboard here real quick. Hand off to Tony Pollard. Hit him. And this will try to be a bounce-back game for the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see if it ends up happening or not. And I'll get you Yadier Molina at the commercial break. I got you. Toby in the building, what's good? And Toby would always ask me, hey, what about the Jags? Are we good enough to go to the Super Bowl? And I had to keep it real. In the last few years, I said, hell no, not good enough. Not even good enough to make the AFC Championship game. But now, Toby, with your Jacksonville Jaguars, all right, when you look at that particular team, obviously the Colts and the Titans, you don't have AR. The Titans look like shit. The Texans look like they're going to be the team that can get second or first place. I know CJ Stroud is young. It's the Jags division to lose. So, like I said, there's no one else that's going to watch more film and read more about all 32 teams in the NFL. But, like I said, if you actually look, at the roster, if you look at it, because I know, Megan, you don't really watch Chief games like I do. The Chiefs don't look good this year. Patrick Mahomes does not look good, and I should know. I have Patrick Mahomes in fantasy. They don't look good this year. They don't have any reliable wide receivers. They got Travis Kelce, but he's been kind of banged up. You got this negative energy with the Taylor Swift thing. Offensive line is kind of shaky. Pacheco has been good. That Chris Jones has been good, but it doesn't feel like a championship caliber Kansas City Chiefs that we're used to. And if that's the case, then they're going to end up getting beat. And usually, statistically speaking, once you make a Super Bowl, you don't go back the next year. Fumble. Go, baby, go. Oh, is he down? Let's go, Chargers. So in that case, we're probably not going to get the Chiefs and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I was thinking maybe Bills and Niners, but I don't think the Bills are going to make it now either. As far as like right now, today, if I had to pick one team that I think that looks the best in the AFC today, I would go with Miami. Because like I said, I know they got Patrick Mahomes over there, but I've never seen a guy that's supposed to be the best quarterback in the NFL throw so many bad ducks up in the air in double and triple coverage like he doesn't care or he's hungover or what the hell is going on. But again, if you don't have, good wide receivers, then obviously your production is going to go down. You just can't run it with Pacheco and McKinnon and assume you're going to go to a Super Bowl and win that way. It just doesn't work. 3rd down and 6. Shotgun set. Dak, let's go. Sit down. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. I mean, like I said, look at all my shows that I do. Look at all the predictions that I say. It's either you pay attention, and you make bets, or you just listen, and be like, oh, that does make sense. And then a couple weeks later, the shit happens, And like I said, I'm not going to be right on every prediction. I'm not going to be 100%. I don't have, Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox almanac, from Back to the Future. I don't got it. I don't have all the answers. But I feel that sometimes the writing is on the wall. You just have to pay attention. And the more games you watch and the more reading you do, you can start picking up these tendencies and things can change. Injuries can change the game. And that's the single thing I can't predict. Go. Good return. Yeah, baby. First down, Chargers. And I'm about to get first place in our fantasy football league. Let's go, Keenan Allen, baby. Let's go. 100%. And even teams like the Chargers and the Ravens might end up passing up the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are a sexy name, right? Josh Allen and Diggs. But with the running game is really that good with James Cook and Latavius Murray. It's all right. Gabe Davis, meh. You know what I mean? Like they don't really have, Kincaid, Dawson Knox. No one is scared of Buffalo. And now they don't have a defense. Now they really suck. Like, you barely beat the Giants at home. What does that tell you? And you lost to the Jags in London. They're in trouble. Herbert, there we go. First down, Chargers. Move the chains. Let's go, baby. Texans' next 3 games are the Panthers, the Bucks, and the Bengals. And you know what? They could win all 3 of those. And I'm a Buck fan. You know what I mean? CJ Stroud, if you look at the way that he is calm, cool, collected, they probably won't win all 3, but I would assume that they could easily win 2 out of 3 and maybe 3 out of 3. I really think that they're like that young team. And obviously we know that, they're supposed to be bad, like the Colts, right? And the Panthers. Go, go, go. Touchdown, Chargers. But there's a flag on the play. Oh, eligible man downfield. Joshua Palmer gets robbed. Well, I watch games. I do reaction videos. I read. All I do is read. I mean, I'm reading 5 to 6 hours a day. I cover all 32 teams after my own. So if I'm going that deep diving like a scout, I feel that I have a little bit more insight. I look at depth chart. I look at injuries. I look at grass. I look at turf. I look at home. I look at away. I look at night games. I look at day games. I mean, no one is going to take it to this level like me. And a lot of times, I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know. But a lot of times I feel you compare me to anybody else on YouTube or Twitch or TV or podcast, I feel I got my winning percentage a little bit higher than most. There we go. Good blockers. Yes, sir. Weaving his way. First down, Chargers. One of the best running backs in the league, Austin Eckler, baby. Let's go. And even with Miami, right, I have concerns because their defense is suspect at times. It's not like they're like, oh, my God, their defense is so good. They don't really have one either. Screen pass to Keenan Allen. Come on, Keenan. I need tutties. But I'm just saying, with the way that their offense is flowing, I think the Jags have the most well-rounded team, offense and defense, when they're healthy. ETN's playing good. Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. O-line's been good. Defense has been good with Josh Allen on the defense. That's the most well-rounded. The closest thing to the Detroit Lions you have in the AFC is the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they're kind of inexperienced, young still, even though they upset the Chargers that we're seeing here today. Can they actually overachieve? We'll find out. Handoff. But I mean, right now, if I'm looking at teams that I think that are good, those are the ones that I'm looking at. Touchdown Chargers. And obviously, if Kansas City gets into a good flow and Buffalo gets into a good flow, can they win? Yeah, of course they can. But I just feel like we haven't seen the chinks in the armor, the cracks in the wheel. This is the most exposed and the most problems that we've seen with Buffalo and Kansas City in the last 5 years. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong that this isn't the worst that Buffalo and Kansas City have looked in the last 4 years, 5 years. It's true. Herbert, there we go. Touchdown, fantasy points. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. I'm about to get first place, baby. First place, baby. Let's go. Let's go. I did see that. I saw he was going to hand it over to Thomas Brown. Hopefully that works out for you. They might be able to this year, but again, they're always riddled with injuries and bad coaching. So until they end up getting rid, of Staley, and they can get over this injury bug, kick us up, and it's good. 7-0 Chargers, baby. I need fantasy points. Boom, I get it on the first drive. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And Herbert's got a broken finger on top of that. But that's one thing that I would actually take Miami, and I would actually take the Jags over the Chargers. I think the Chargers have a hell of a lot of talent, but until they get rid of Staley, you got to have good O-line, good D-line, right? Good defense, good coaching, good play calling. And then you also have the injury curse of the Chargers. So it's like, we got Derwin James. Is he playing? Oh, we got Joey Bosa, but is he playing? Oh, we got all these guys there, but can you actually say, oh, we got Khalil Mack, but is he out there? And when they're out there, they're great. But it's just not being able to get all of the guys together at the same time. I can't have Asante Samuel Jr. and then Derwin James, but then no Joey Bosa. It's hard to be able to win when you got all these big names and no one can stay healthy. Like maybe Asante Samuel Jr. is the one that can stay the healthiest, but he's also the newest on the team within the last couple of years. And then as far as like Herbert, awesome, right? Eckler, awesome. Keenan Allen, awesome. Mike Williams, injured, right? But he normally is a pretty good number two. Joshua Palmer, above average. So it's like you got a lot of pieces, but the O-line typically fails. The D-line usually is injured. And then a majority of the good defensive players choke or they're injured or they're, you know what I'm saying? And that's not me being a hater. It's just me pointing out what we've seen every single year. The Chargers need to get a better head coach, than what they have. Someone that's not going to try to be like a Chip Kelly or trying to be like Dan Lanning, going for, fourth down conversions instead of kicking field goals, or going for 2-point conversions in the first quarter. There's no reason for it, And I feel that if you had better coaching, better play calling, better O-line, better defense, the Chargers could end up overachieving. But until those changes get made, if it ends up being Chargers and Jags, I would assume the Jags would win. If it ends up being Chargers and Miami, I'd probably lean towards Miami, unless they can prove to me that they can stay injury-free for one season. And in the last 10 years, I have never seen them being able to stay injury-free with their superstars on that side of the ball. So I'm hoping before I die that I can at least see the Chargers and Herbert, be healthy together for one season. That way they can overachieve and make the AFC Championship game or possibly the Super Bowl. I don't want them to waste Herbert's career, obviously for the Chargers, if they can't get the right pieces there. Otherwise, he may have to go somewhere else and try to win somewhere else. So, Keenan Allen, bye-bye. Yeah. And sometimes the Dolphins defense plays decent, and sometimes, they get exposed, but obviously they're out there a lot because the Dolphins score so quickly. That is very correct. I agree. I mean, but just right now, if you're looking at the Chiefs and you're looking at, the Bills and you're looking at all the teams in the AFC, I mean, if you had to put money on like who would win, regardless home or away, like who do you give the confidence to? I would say right now the Miami Dolphins are playing the best, football right now in the AFC. And I think I kind of like the Jags, even though they have Mahomes and they have Kelsey. They got wide receivers that I don't trust, and that defense is a little suspect too. And Mahomes hasn't been playing well. So I mean, if it's me, I kind of like the Jags and the Dolphins right now. Now my opinion could change in a week or two, but as far as right now, those are the two teams that I like the most in the AFC today. Dak, there we go. CD Lamb, first down, Cowboys. I've always had the same point of view. I've never been a bandwagon Charger fan or a bandwagon Herbert guy. I mean, of course, I love my Ducks, you know what I mean? But I know that there's quarterbacks that are better. But again, with all the star pieces you have, it's not Herbert. It's going to be the coaching, the play calling, the defense. Herbert can do Herbert things, just like Keenan Allen and Eckler and Mike Williams. But if you can never stay healthy, it's not necessarily Herbert that's going to lose the games for you. A lot of times it's going to be Staley, the O-line, or the defense, or the injuries. There we go, CD. First down, Cowboys. It's not like I've ever said that I thought the Chargers were the best team in the NFL or they're going to win a Super Bowl. The best case scenario for Herbert in his career is that hopefully he can get to like one Super Bowl. And if that happens, they'll probably lose. And hoping he can get to at least 2 AFC championship games before he retires. And if he does get there, it's not like they're going to win both. Like I said, even with all the skill position talent, it doesn't matter. You got to have O-line, D-line, defense coaching, and play calling. Regardless if you have great quarterback, running back, wide receivers, tight ends, that shit don't matter. You got to have a quality, complete team, not just star pieces. Yeah, where was the flag there? 7-0 Chargers. Second down and 10. Chargers 7, Cowboys 0. And I'll get your Yadier Molina here in just a second, Sarah. Dak. Blockers downfield. Pollard. Good tackle. Shout out to Cyber and Sarah helping out on that Twitter side. I appreciate that. Third down and 3. Shotgun set. Dak, little flip to Pollard. There we go. First down, Cowboys. With the Cowboys too, when they get exposed, it's like when they play a really good defense, they get smacked in the mouth, and then obviously the fans lose their minds. Like, oh my God, playing the Niners. Well, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? You were going to go in there and you were going to beat San Fran. It wasn't going to happen. But then you go against a team that's got some names, but the defense isn't as good, and then the Cowboys actually start doing something. Then they start getting delusional, thinking that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. You have to realize, yeah, you should be able to take advantage of teams that don't have a very good defense. If you have a Dak or a CD or a Tony Pollard or a Gallup, you actually have some decent talent there. But when you have really good defenses, they're going to shut you down. They have to be able to realize that, playing a different opponent each week is going to determine how good you're going to do the rest of the season. If you play a bunch of shitty teams and you go 4-0, well, of course they have shitty defense. You play a team that's got a good defense like Philly or San Fran, you're probably going to get fucking smacked in the mouth. I mean, I don't understand why they think that things are going to change. And Dak is overrated. I tried to defend the guy for years and years and years, but he's just not getting better. He kind of capped out. What you see is what you get. You know what I'm saying? Pass incomplete to Michael Gallup. Can you be a very good regular season team that can win 10 or 11 games every year? Yes. But when it gets to the playoffs, when things matter the most, and if the team's got a good defense, guess what's going to happen? You are going to shut Dak down. He will throw 1, 2, 3 interceptions, and it's going to happen year in and year out. Nothing is going to fucking change. They need to get rid of Jerry. They need to get rid of Dak. They need to be able to, shake things up, but we know that's never going to happen. 3rd down and 5. 7-0 Chargers. Shotgun set. No blitz. Get him. Little pump fake. Oh, nice tackle. Nice save there. Yeah, and like I said, there was a lot of things that he needed to clean up. He ended up needing to clean up many, many things. Touchdown, Cowboys. Look at them. Now they think they're one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, no offense, but a lot of teams could score on the Charger defense. And it sucks because the Chargers defense actually has names. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, even though he's old, right? Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., but like 4 guys out of 11 ain't going to cut it. Look at Dak in that fake. Touchdown, Cowboys. You can have athletes, but that doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to be a smart football player. Big touchdown by Dak. There you go. Allen in the building. What's good? I think they're a good regular season team. I think that's they're a good regular season team. But again, for the Cowboys, to me personally, for them to be able to go to the next level, you got to get rid of McCarthy. You got to fire him, and you got to move on from Dak. You got to, stop thinking that he's good enough to get you to an NFC championship game or a Super Bowl. Because if he was, he would have done it already. That's an honest evaluation. Extra point is up for Aubrey, and it's good. Nice job, Dak. How are you, Alan? What's good, brother? And I'm not saying that, like I said, I think they can be a very good regular season team, right? But, for certain players to be able to go a little bit further, things need to change. McCarthy's got to go. Dak's got to go. They got to be able to get somebody better. But the problem is, the reason that they haven't moved on from Dak, because, he still is probably maybe a top 12 quarterback. Are you really going to be able to get rid of Dak and get someone better? Because if you got rid of Dak and you brought in Kyler, that's worse. You know what I mean? Like Kyler's a name, but he's not going to do necessarily better than Dak. If you got rid of Dak and you brought in Carr, is that going to be better? Probably not. If you got rid of Dak and you brought in Cousins, is that going to be better? Probably not. It's all around the same. It's like you need to be able to get someone like a Trevor Lawrence type of talent or better. And if not, things are just going to repeat themselves over and over and over again. So, that's my personal opinion on it. And I feel with even with Herbert and the Chargers, if they don't get the right coach in there and they can't get off that injury curse, they're never going to win anything there either. And that's just being honest, you know what I mean? And if it takes for Herbert going to a different team to actually have a chance to get to a Super Bowl, then that's what might need to happen unless he ends up signing like an extension and staying his whole career there. But I don't know. They don't have a very good track record of getting good head coaches for the Chargers. And then whenever they do have one, they typically fire him too early. Like Marty, it's like you can have a guy that can be like 12-4, coach, right? And then you let him go, and then you never are the same since then. So that's kind of my feeling on it as well. It's like you got to be able to have the right coach, the right play caller, but also the Chargers are cursed just as any team. I'm trying to think of a team that is more cursed with injuries year in and year out from their superstar players. And I can't name one. Can you guys name one that is more cursed than the Chargers year in and year out with superstar players getting hurt every single year? Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James. I mean, name another team that gets more guys hurt at the superstar level than them. And I'm just hoping that there'll be a day, because I got a couple friends like my boy Joey and a few others that are huge Charger fans, but it's kind of like being a Cowboy fan. Like, it's like you have a lot of expectations, you have a lot of hope. All you want to do is your team to win and get to the NFC or AFC championship game. But every single year, it seems like both of these franchises kind of get disappointed with the same thing happening over and over again with the Chargers, injuries, with the Cowboys, Dak Prescott, and obviously that offense letting them down, moving forward into 2023 and beyond. But so far in this game, they match up well with each other, right? Defenses have a little holes. Their offenses are pretty powerful during the regular season, and we're knotted up 7-7. Let me try to squeeze in a couple of these Yadier Molinas for you. Appreciate you. I got another really cool one. Let me squeeze these in. Appreciate you, Sarah. Let's go. Wish he was still your catcher. Eckler dancing and romancing. Short gain. $23, 77 to go. Let's go. Which one you guys like better, the Charger logo with the words underneath it, or just the bolt? I feel like the one with the words underneath it gets kind of blended in with the card behind it. So I think I'm just going to go with just the lightning bolt. I think it looks better. It's like the Cowboy star. Short gain. All right, Cowboy defense, I see you. And I might not be a Cowboy fan myself, but I do like the white helmets with this particular jersey scheme that the Cowboys are wearing. It looks very clean. I do like it. Third down and 7. Come on, Herbert. And Herbert's got a broken finger, too. You got to be careful there. Oh, I mean, I could have told you that. I mean, I got a lot of, fans of the Chargers and whatnot, and Anthony Lynn was garbage, and Staley's garbage. It doesn't take that long to realize when the coach is not good. Like McCarthy's garbage, too. They're like, oh, we're going to get rid of Kellen Moore. We're going to solve all the problems. If anything, they look worse. Let's be honest. And now we have Kellen Moore playing plays for the Chargers against the Cowboys. And I don't think Kellen Moore would be good enough to be the head coach for the Chargers either. They need someone like, I'm not sure if a Sean Payton would be able to help him. He's not doing that good of a job in Denver, but Denver doesn't have a very good team either. But they need someone, a quarterback whisperer, to be able to help out both of these quarterbacks, Dak and Justin Herbert. Herbert? Incomplete. Yeah, but Staley to me is garbage. But both teams could end up winning, 10, 11 games and making the playoffs every year. I'm not going to debate that. But it's just when we get to the playoffs, when you play teams that actually have good defenses, that's when you start to see them crack. They're not able to make decisions fast enough, right? And they have a lot of turnovers and they get exposed. And it sucks. It's just the reality of how things go in the NFL if you don't make improvements. You can't do the same shit over and over and over again and expect different results. Chargers with the punt. I did hear about adding a Super Bowl in London. Why is it stupid? Tell me why it's stupid. Can any normal person that actually has a regular job afford to go to the Super Bowl? No. Anyone that goes to the Super Bowl is someone rich or some corporate company. It's never real fans that are at the Super Bowl, right? So if they end up doing it in London, why would they do that? To be able to make money, to expand the brand, to be able to get more people globally to invest in their brand. So it's not like we're going to be able to go to the game anyways. So if you're going to be able to get people that are maybe regular people and rich people that are able to go there, even though ticket prices would be very high, you would probably be able to get more regular people, in London that would be able to go. They would be able to go here in America. So for me, I don't think it's stupid. Now, if tickets were cheaper and it was going to, take away the chance of a kid being able to see his team playing the Super Bowl, yeah, I would rather have it here in the United States. But the NFL doesn't care about me. The NFL doesn't care about you. They care about money. Why do you think they love this Taylor Swift action with her 100 million followers, putting her on the header of like Twitter and Instagram? They're doing it because they're trying to make money and they're trying to get followers that are Swifties to the brand. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about money. And so for me, I wouldn't mind that actually being in London. If it, I wouldn't want it to be in London every year, but if they decide that they want to make money and they want to expand the brand, look at the London crowd. You know, how is the London crowd when the games are there? They're lit, they're rowdy, they're drunk, they're having a good time, they're swinging sweet Caroline, bump, bump, bump. I mean, it's a good vibe. So unless you're not waking up right and watching those games there, then you would have no idea. But I've watched every London game that there has been, and I actually kind of like the vibe. I wouldn't want them to be there every year. If they do it for one time, not a big deal to me. You just got to think outside the box, Finley. Like I said, most people can see in black and white. Sometimes you got to look at the gray area. I like energy and emotion, and if that means the London crowd is going to give it more than an American crowd for 1 year, so be it. Shotgun set, first down and 10. There we go. C.D. Lamb, first down, Cowboys. Move the chains. Well, because they don't have one. They got Joey Bosa. They got, Derwin James. You got Asante Samuel Jr. You got Khalil Mack. But again, a couple guys doesn't make a defense. And it's also scheme as well. Are you playing man? Are you playing zone? Are you playing 4-3? Are you playing 3-4? Are you good at man? Like I said, are you good at press coverage? There's a lot of things there where defenses get exposed. And these are two really good regular season teams. Get him! First down, Cowboys. It also shows you the depth that the Niners have. The Niners can make a really good team or even an above average team look terrible. But then, of course, if you go from the Niners slapping the Cowboys in the mouth and now you're playing a team that has a suspect defense, of course Dak is going to look good. Of course CeeDee Lamb is going to be able to get some big yards and touchdowns. Of course Tony Pollard actually can run the ball now. It shows you how good and great the elite defenses are in this National Football League. First down and 10, 3:34 left in the first quarter. Dak. And if you also notice, when you end up playing an elite team, what happens? You tend to go away from the run. And what makes good teams balance is a good run and passing game. The run will open up the play action. So obviously, if you're like, oh my God, the Niners D-line is so good with Nick Bosa, we're not going to run with Pollard, and they know you're going to pass, that's when they're going to get picks and sack lunches on you. You're playing into their strengths, knowing that you're scared of us and our D-line, you're not going to run, which would be a strength to you. And then now we know you're going to pass, and now we're going to game plan for that, and we're going to beat your ass. And that's what they typically do. Uh-oh. Oh, I got away from that sack lunch. Throw it away, Dak. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. How's Wemby doing? 3-0 Phillies. I'm telling you, Phillies, Rangers. And I would assume Phillies are going to be world champs. And I had that strong feeling. Remember, Sarah, I said, hey, if the Rangers go up 2-0, they're going to win it all. Or at least not win it all, but at least win it past the Astros and make the World Series. And that's exactly what happened. And both the first two games were in Houston. So obviously it's over. You can't win at home. You ain't winning on the road. Third down and 6. Shotgun set. Delay a game. Is Wemby in the game? Like I said, I got to look to see what else we got going on. All right, what do we got? We got Diamondbacks and the Phillies, Rockets and Spurs, Sixers and Nets, Panthers and Devils, Coyotes and Rangers, Red Wings and Columbus. We got Chicago and Toronto, Calgary and Washington, Hawks and Pacers, and then the Cavs against a foreign team. Maybe I'll throw on the Diamondbacks and Phillies. Elliot in the building. What's good? Oh, he's not playing today? Man, Finley, I'm telling you, I am a huge Wemby guy. Like, I already knew he had a lot of potential, but even in that first little stint, in that like 25 minutes that he played, I saw things that I have never seen an athlete of 7'4", 7'5", 7'6" ever do. The crossovers on the NBA level, not, obviously in the amateur level, and him being able to shoot threes, the pick and roll, the rebound dunks, the alley oops. I mean, he just looks at so effortless out there. Pass incomplete to Michael Gallup. So I feel that LeBron James lived up to the hype. Wemby is going to live up to the hype as well, and I'm definitely excited to be able to watch his career blossom. And he's in the perfect place. I know the Blazers would have loved him, but you're going to get coached up by Pop, which is like a Belichick that doesn't cheat, right? You're going to also have David Robinson, the Admiral, and Tim Duncan at your disposal at any point in your life. Like they have your phone number, your friends, you're good. Like you have a huge advantage over any other big man in the league. Like Embiid is nice, but Wemby, man, Wemby is special. I'll be definitely doing Spurs games just for him. I'll be doing a little Wemby. We'll do some Dame for the Bucks and Giannis. Obviously, the good teams, Embiid, Sixers, Celtics with Tatum and Brown, Miami Heat with Jimmy and Bam Adebayo, and obviously with the teams like Lakers with LeBron and AD, the Warriors with Steph Clay and Draymond and Steve Kerr, the Blazers with Scoot Henderson, so it'll be fun. This is actually the first year in the NBA that I'm actually excited, for the season to start for the first time in like 15 years. Yeah, I know, man. And like I said, it shows you that CJ Stroud is a little bit better than people are giving him credit for. As far as like a rookie quarterback, he plays like a veteran. He plays like a 5-year vet. He's very good. Offensive line has played much better than anyone anticipated, and their defense for the Texans actually has played a little bit better than anticipated. But again, if you miss a couple field goals, it's a killer. Just ask, Moody for the Niners. If he didn't miss two, they would have won. So it happens, but it shows you the NFC South is up for grabs. But even if the Bucks win, we're not doing nothing. It's like we got the Bucks, we got the Seahawks. We can probably get there. Maybe the Saints, maybe the Packers, and a few of these other teams might be able to get in. But we're not on the same level, as the Niners, the Eagles, or the Lions. But if the Niners and Eagles have injuries, which they do, then they go down a peg. And it's safe to say, if the Detroit Lions, stay healthy, they could be the number one team in the NFC. They could end up being the number one team in the NFL. I kept telling people that didn't want to believe me that I told y'all the writing is on the wall. Jared Goff is better than advertised. This is the best collective team the Lions have ever had. They have never had a team this good from head coach, quarterback, running back, wide receivers, O-line, D-line, defense, special teams. And on top of that, right, they actually had a key injury with Gardner Johnson. If they would have had him still, then that would have been a big piece there as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I'm not saying the Lions are going to the Super Bowl, but in the next 5 years, this is year one of a 5-year run where they should be very good, and they may make 2 NFC championship appearances. I don't know if it'll be this year, but again, we can see that the Eagles and the Niners got exposed, and if your defense is good, Browns, Jets, top 10 defenses, right? You have a chance to even beat a team, that is better than you. If you can just get enough, through special teams, defense, and enough on offense. Big facts. Well, we already know the head coach for the Saints is not good. Dennis Allen. Carmichael, the OC, is terrible. Offensive line has not been good. Michael Thomas will never be the Michael Thomas that he was back in the day with Drew Brees. But since AK-41 has come back, they've been better, right? But even with that being said, I thought the Saints were going to be the Lions this year, and I thought they were going to be 2 of them. But the Saints haven't really lived up to the coach, the play calling, and that O-line. I wasn't anticipating the coaching and the O-line and the play calling to be this shitty. And I think the Saints fans were in the same thing, like, wow, I did not realize it was going to be this bad. And when you end up being that bad, you still win games. You can still win 10 or 11, but you're just not going to win a playoff game. You're just going to get there and lose. Probably like Tampa. We'll get there, but we'll probably lose, unless we can turn things around and get a better running back. There we go. Go, Keenan. That's my boy. First down, Chargers. And I think Carr, to me, he's better than Jameis Winston, but the Saints deserve a quarterback better, in my opinion. I mean, if you went from Drew Brees and then Jameis and Taysom Hill, Carr is more of a natural quarterback, but I'm not feeling him on the Saints. Like obviously a big part of it is the O line not being very good, but even when the O line wasn't very good for the Raiders and A guy, he was more crisp. You could say, oh, he had better talent to throw to and to run to. Agreed. Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and those guys, it seemed like the offense flowed better, even though both offensive lines were not that good. But the problem is that the Raiders offensive line is not good. The Saints offensive line is good, but they're underachieving. And some of their guys that they're drafting or filling in, like Penning and whatnot, they're not doing well. And it's like showing you that even one bad offensive lineman out of 5 is a crack in the wheel, and then the whole line sucks. And it normally doesn't work like that. If you just have one hole in the line, usually you can cover it up with a patch, like a flat tire. But for the Saints, they can't. So, it's a very big disappointment, but I don't think Carr is good enough to be the Saints quarterback. I think he's still like a top, 15, 16 quarterback. But to me, it's not the right fit. Just what I see. Now, is he better than Jameis and Taysom? Yes. And then he'll be your quarterback for the next couple years. But I don't think he's good enough to get you to an NFC championship game and win. I just don't think so. I think he's good, but he's not that good. So he can throw for 4,000 low INTs, but the TDs are never there. Yeah. And like I said, a Carr to me, it has to be a product of great offensive line, great weapons, great coaching, someone in his ear, and then he can kind of do it. But if he doesn't have all of those things, someone holding his hand across the street, he fucks up a lot. And he fucks up too much for my liking. And I still think that he was like a top 12 quarterback with him, Kirk Cousins. I felt they were like kind of neck and neck with each other, Kyler and a few of these other guys that are typically ranked 10th through 15th, Trevor Lawrence, and he's kind of moved up. But I feel that like there's other guys that are much worse, and there's guys that are much, much better. But for those guys that play good and then bad, good, bad, it just makes you want to pull your hair out. I don't have any hair to pull out. Maybe I did when I was in my teens or 20s, but it's just like to have a quarterback throw up, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks, and then the next game throw up 178, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. It's maddening. You know what I mean? It's like I would rather have a guy throw for 200 to 275, 2 touchdowns, no pick, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The next game, 300, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Like, give me something that's a little bit more positive, not boom and then bust, boom and bust. Give me a little bit more of a steady line, and I don't think you're ever going to get that out of Carr. So that's just my evaluation, and I was a lot higher on him, but I feel like if he doesn't have an offensive line and the right play calling and coach, you're getting the results that you're getting with the Saints. You should be the number 1 team in the NFC South over the Bucs. But now the Bucs are probably going to end up winning it, and we don't even have a fucking running game. We can't even gain like 30, 40 yards in a fucking game. And we're still winning games with Baker. That shows you how terrible that the coaching, the play calling, and the O-line for the Saints has been. The Saints should easily win the NFC South, and they probably won't. But at the end of the year, it will be between the Saints and the Bucs. So. But do you see what I'm saying? That evaluation, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you watch Carr, you don't get excited. You don't get that, oh, swag. It's like, okay, he's better than Jameis. He's better than Taysom Hill, but fuck, a lot of people are. This is the Saints. You have a better reputation than that. And if I'm a Bucs fan saying that, I know Saints fans feel it too. He's not good enough. Good enough for right now, but not good enough to get you to a Super Bowl. And I don't even think he's good enough to get you to an NFC championship game. And that hurts me to say because I really do like the Saints. I like him as a quarterback, but every quarterback has limits. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm off base, but I just kind of feel based on what I've seen so far, he needs a lot of help to be that guy to get you to the NFC championship game. And maybe he will if they fire the head coach, fire the OC, and they get the O-line fixed. Then, yeah, they can get to an NFC championship game. But when will that shit happen? Will it ever happen? We don't know. Herbert, bat it down. Oh, Herbert back to himself. For the Chargers. I know. I did the reaction video. He's killing it. He's killing because he's getting so many targets. How many targets is he getting per game? Some games he's getting over 10. So it's amazing. I wish I would have picked him up in fantasy. No lie. I mean, he's not the most big name, but I don't care about big names. I mean, if Adam Thielen is doing that, I would put him with Mike Evans and Amon Ra. Maybe I would start Jay Jetta because that was my first pick, but now he's on IR. But if I got, Mike Evans, Amon Ra, and Keenan Allen, I would consider Mike Evans going to the bench, and I would put Thielen at flex or wide receiver too. And if I did that, are some games Mike Evans going to score more? Yeah, but it's all about consistency in fantasy, and he is consistent. He's been the most impressive piece with Bryce Young. So great fact right here that you're throwing out. Not many people know this. Good for you to be able to throw that out there. Let them know. I mean, Chark ain't really doing anything, but again, Thielen's getting like 10 to 12 targets a game. Herbert steps up in the pocket. Oh, big hit. Exactly. And I know Saints fans think the same thing. Like they're happy, right, that it's better than Jameis throwing picks every game, and Taysom Hill. But also, you're seeing Carr kind of fuck up more than you expected. Some of it is him, but also some of it's play calling, coaching, and obviously lack of a good offensive line. And obviously, Carr is going to get the blame first before the O line and the coach and the OC, unless you're a diehard and you really know what's the problem. So. I mean, if you had a steady running back better than Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, if those were guys RB2, Miles Sanders, Chuba, RB3, a better running back, another Adam Thielen on the other side, right? A better offensive line. Yeah, I mean, the team would be much, much better. You just have to build. Or if McCaffrey was still on the team, pump fake. Herbert, oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. I mean, Chark is a name, but he ain't on the Adam Thielen level as far as catching the football. Thielen had a rebirth because he's actually getting targets. But if he was in Minnesota, he would be drowning in mediocrity because he would only probably get 3 to 5 targets, probably catch 2 of them, and they probably wouldn't be touchdowns. And everyone would be like, fuck this guy. I don't want him in fantasy. So it actually worked out for him, even though the team is not very good and they're in a rebuild. The Vikings are horrible right now, too. So the coaching and the O line were going to be better. Yeah. Like Michael Thomas is no longer a top 5 receiver. No one fears him. They know he's going to get hurt in a game or two. Olave is a stud. I'll give you that. Rashid Shaheed, I like him. AK-41 is good, but he wasn't as good as he was in the past. So it's like you have pieces, Juwan Johnson and Chalky, but the offense doesn't really make you say, "Oh my God, these guys are so good." It's just like an okay to good offense. Not like, oh my God, these guys are lighting it up. Like there's not really a piece that says that except for an occasional Olave or Rashid Shaheed or an AK-41. Herbert, incomplete. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. But it just doesn't feel like an amazing team. It just feels like, we're like kind of a mid, like a middle of the pack. Like we're good enough to get to 9 or 10 or 11 wins, but a lot of times it's like we're falling a little bit short of what we should be. We should be better than this. Why are we playing like this? Why are we coaching like this? You know? And obviously you got to be able to figure out your kicker too, because you got rid of Big Nuts Will Lutz, and now you brought in Groupie. Everyone loves Groupies, and he's been pretty good until that last game. So hopefully that was just like a one-time thing. But kicking wins you a lot of games as well. 3rd down and 8. Herbert, pass is low, incomplete. Keenan Allen, 10 points, baby. Yeah, but he also too, Elliot. I've watched every Saint game this season. Because I'll be honest, I spy on you guys a lot. Like when there's a game on in the morning, and if the Bucks aren't playing, the first team that I look towards, I look for C.J. Stroud on the AFC side, and then I look for the Saints first on the NFC side because I want to be able to, vibe with you guys, but I want to break you guys down, and you're my biggest threat, so I need to make sure I'm like spying on you guys. And Olave would be bigger if he got better targets and he actually got better looks. He could actually be that true number one receiver, but you guys spread it around evenly. So there's no really one guy that's getting more targets that should. Like Michael Thomas should be getting less, right? And Rashid Shaheed and Olave should be getting more. Less to the tight ends, to Shockey and Juwan Johnson, more to Rashid Shaheed, Olave, and then AK-41 in the flat. If you want to be effective. If you want to be average or mid, keep going to MT13. Keep going, to Juwan and fucking Shockey. And you know what I mean? Like you already know what guys are going to do for you. But I know you want to make sure everyone stays involved so no one has, blow ups like Michael Thomas. Give me the damn ball. But you're not the same player. Like no one fears you anymore. You're never going to have a season like that. And honestly, it'd probably be better to cut your ties with him and get a better receiver on the other side. So that way it can be Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and someone better than Michael Thomas. And that's not me being a hater. It's just I don't see that he'll be able to stay healthy for the rest of his career. And he doesn't give you that that same vibe that he had with Breeze where, he could run all the routes and catch everything and get touchdowns. He's not that guy anymore. That ship has sailed. I don't really think he's ever going to be good ever again. I think you're going to get bigger plays out of Rashid Shaheed and Olave for the rest of their careers rather than an occasional, even if you gave Michael Thomas 10 targets, I mean, he may not even get in the end zone, like 10 targets, 7 catches, 68 yards, no tutty. I mean, I'd rather go 8 targets to Rashid Shaheed, 8 or 9 or 10 to Olave, and chances are you're going to get a touchdown with each guy. So, and the average person, Elliot, they don't even know who the fuck Rashid Shaheed is. So that's why it's good to be able to dig deep. You got to be able to know football. A lot of people know their own teams, but most people don't know everybody. Like I really try to treat every team as my own. And obviously, if I didn't, then I wouldn't know the names of these fucking coaches and GMs and the players and the backups. It takes a lot of energy, but when you love something and you get intrigued by information and film and reading, look at this right here: Christian McCaffrey, oblique rib, not good. Deebo Samuel, shoulder. Trent Williams, that's tough. That's tough. The Niners and Eagles may go on a slide, and we may see the Detroit Lions as the number one team, not only in the NFC, but in the entire NFL. And then if we're really, really lucky, we'll get a Detroit Lions, Miami Dolphins Super Bowl. Write it down. I'm not saying that it's going to happen this year. It could, right? But that would be a fun fucking Super Bowl. Think about it. Detroit Lions, with what they're bringing to the table, Miami Dolphins. Defense is a little suspect, but Tua and Tyreek and Waddle, I don't know, would be kind of sexy. I think fans of teams that aren't the Dolphins or the Lions would be like, dude, this will be fun to watch, And who do you go for? I guess it depends if you're just a really big fan of Tua, Tyreek, and Waddle, or Mike McDaniel, or if you just want to go for the Lions, being that kind of blue collar, white collar, gritty, O-line, D-line, one team that's got the balance and the full package, and they've been lovable losers for all these years, or the team that's got the most explosive offense in the NFL moving forward. So I could see that. But I won't take out the Eagles or Niners, for being in the mix yet. We just got to be able to see what's going on. And then Sarah just sent me a message saying that they're fearing that Richardson's done for the year. And that's what I was kind of fearing. I felt Richardson had a skill set to be like C.J. Stroud, but with a frame like that, like Cam Newton, and you run too much, you're going to get hurt. And I thought he would get hurt within his first 3 years. He got hurt in his rookie year. So they may have to look for another quarterback in the next couple of years because of his injury-prone status in his body, which sucks because I think he's a good player. He's better than Bryce, in my opinion, but he's not as good as CJ. But we may never know his true potential if this keeps happening. That was my concern with him. I think he's a bright kid. I think he's very smart. He's a loving guy. He cares about people. He's a leader. But, if you're going to run around, like RG3 and Colin Kaepernick, at some point you're going to get fucked up. These guys are going to hit you and you're going to get hurt. You got to be a pocket guy. Same thing with like Lamar. You can dance with the best of them, but one big pop by a linebacker or a safety, and you're fucked up. You might be out for the year. And I think that these quarterbacks think they're more invincible because the referees protect them. They can't protect you forever. Eventually, you're going to get popped. It depends if he can stay healthy. If Jalen Ramsey can stay healthy, it'll help a lot, because it'll help solidify one spot. And he's not a top two corner anymore. I would put him somewhere between, if healthy, 3 through 10. As high as 3, but not 1 or 2. And then as low as 10, but still, I would be shocked if he just can't cover anymore. But we have to see his injury. But, for the longest time, he was number 1 or number 2. So we have to give him that respect. But the Dolphins, don't have a lot of pieces. They got an Oregon Duck safety back there, Javon Holland, who's a stud. They got some guys in the middle and up front, but it's like you can't really count on the Dolphin defense to win you a game. It's really like the Tua, and Raheem Mostert and Tyreek and Waddle, they're going to win you the game. And the O-line needs work and the defense needs work. But eventually, if Miami builds an O-line and a defense, they're going to be unstoppable. They're going to end up going to an AFC Championship game or a Super Bowl probably within the next 6 years. But it could be a huge impact, where it really helps solidify them being the number 1 team in the AFC, or it could be a minimal impact, but it's still better than what they have. I mean, Xavier Howard, when he was on the Dolphins, we were kind of dreaming, maybe both can play together. Yeah, well, the Phillies are the hottest team besides the Rangers. So the Diamondbacks are a cool story, but every, once in a while, your luck runs out against a team that's just as hot and has more talent than you. Now, if the Diamondbacks had 2 or 3 Corbin Carrolls, then I would say it's dead even. But since they don't, you got to give it to Philadelphia with their pitching and obviously their experience of, crawling before they walked and making it to the World Series and feeling that pain and now trying to get back and winning it. So my World Series pick is Philadelphia. Philadelphia versus the Rangers. And Philly should be able to win that in 6 or 7. If it goes 7, that would be fantastic as far as a fan is concerned, but I could probably see them winning it in 6. They're very good at home. They have the best home field advantage in baseball by a billion. Their fans are very, very rowdy, and they make a huge difference in their home games. And they travel pretty well, too. Yeah, Mostert's a stud. Sometimes in fantasy, you got to find those, Breece Halls, like Reflect, like Mostert. If you get guys like that, sometimes it's better than having like a Josh Jacobs or a Saquon Barkley because, yeah, those guys are good when they're healthy. I had them last year, Nick Chubb, Saquon, right, and Josh Jacobs. But then this year, all 3 of them are either injured or not that good. So things change. But I'll tell you what, one thing I do regret is not picking up Dolphin players. I should have picked up Tua, Mostert, Tyreek, Waddle, and I guarantee I will moving forward. I'll be looking to try to at least add 1 Miami Dolphin player in fantasy every year because I see the trajectory of that team, and I don't see them slowing down unless Tua gets hurt. So, and then imagine, Mike McDaniel, he doesn't get enough credit as well. The big reason why they're doing so well is his play calling. The guy is a fucking genius. He's just like a Sean McVay and a Kyle Shanahan. And he'll end up winning a Super Bowl before his career is over as well. He's that damn good. All right, let's go to Bryce for his birthday. And I've always been a fan of Bryce. Like if it was between Bryce and Mike Trout, I'm more of a Bryce Harper guy. I always have been. He always has been kind of like the villain. I've always liked him. Even when he was on the Nationals, I had no problem with him. I've always liked him. I think he's got a bad rap in the media. I think he's cool. Mike Trout obviously is the better player, but I think who's the more clutch player, right? Who's the most clutch? And that's Bryce Harper. Bryce is the better clutch player. The best overall player is Trout. Trout is like the modern day Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays. Right? His maybe memorabilia and cards might be worth more long term, but I think Bryce has a chance to get himself into that superstardom realm. Especially once he gets a World Series under his belt. And then at that point, once that happens, he'll be dead even with Trout. If he can win more than 1 World Series, then he might end up surpassing him. What you do in the postseason is big. Well, because Trevor is getting the ball to ETN, the game has changed. They're going run heavy. Ridley will have big days, but also you have Christian Kirk. You have Evan Ingram. You have a lot of weapons there. That's one thing about the Jags. It's like if you have Ridley in fantasy, you might be disappointed. But if you drafted him, you took a risk. Everyone on TV and everyone in podcasts told you, and you believed them, that Ridley was going to be a top 5 or top 3 wide receiver this year. And you guys believed him, and you took a risk picking him over other big superstar names, and it came back to bite you. Like there has been Ridley big games where you can get 20 or 30, but there also is going to be games where he's going to hit you with like 5, and you have to be prepared for that because they have so many options on the offense. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get 10 to 12 every game. But that's what the media and then the fantasy football people, on the shows and on the, podcasts and on the little blurbs, when you read them on the fantasy app, they told you Ridley is going to be big. He's going to come back after this gambling. He might be number 1 in the NFL. And then, sometimes you either believe that hype or you're like me and you don't. And that's why I didn't draft him. So it was a risk. High risk, high reward. Sarah, drafted him, and obviously, if he was playing really, really well, I guarantee that she wouldn't be the record that she is today. Just bad luck, with some of the players, and then drafting, and then also the wire. It's like you got to have a good draft. Top 5 out of 10 teams, right? You can't have major injuries to your star players, and you have to be very fucking active in the first 3 weeks on the wire. And if you don't check off those boxes and bad shit happens, then you're not going to be happy with your record. Big stuff there by the Cowboys. Matt in the building. What's good? Yeah. Ridley's a good name, but I said, like Matt, when you do fantasy, and you're on the fantasy app 4 or 5 hours a day, like I am, or when you're doing reaction videos and you're watching games of every team, there's like a perception of Calvin Ridley being good route runner and being good, but then also you have to watch the games to see how they're using him. You can just be like Calvin Ridley this, Calvin Ridley that, good route runner, he can do this, but if he's not getting the targets and he's not getting fantasy points, he's not getting yards or touchdowns, you know, you can only do so much just based on the player name. You actually have to watch the film and see how things are going week in and week out. I like Ridley, but he hasn't lived up to the hype that the fantasy people were giving. So a lot of times you have to do your own research, otherwise you'll get burned. And obviously knowing that you have Christian Kirk there, you have Evan Ingram there, you got ETN there. I mean, they don't really have one guy. Now, is Ridley good enough to be the one? Yeah, but Ridley is more of like a wide receiver too. They need someone to be like DK Metcalf, AJ Brown on the Jags. Imagine if they had that, right? And then Ridley on the other side or in the slot. Oh, then it's game over. Then you got Christian Kirk on the outside, Ridley in the slot, DK Metcalf or AJ Brown on the outside, and you got Trevor and ETN. Then you're fucking everybody up. So they're like, or if they get like Mike Evans to join, you get one big wide receiver, preferably AJ Brown, DK Metcalf. That changes the game. But there's not a lot of guys that are built like AJ Brown or DK Metcalf. But if you get guys like that, some teams are like one piece away. It's like you need more O-line for the Jags. You need a little bit more defense, but the defense is top 10. But just imagine one more elite wide receiver, AJ Brown on the Jags. They could make it to the AFC Championship game. They could maybe make the Super Bowl with that one addition. So you got to look at football like that as well. Yeah, I changed. I actually was. It's funny that you pointed it out because I was. I'm going to rep even when we lose. No matter what. So I got the chain on even too. But I had the Joey Harrington vintage jersey on. But I figured since I'm wearing the bandana with the Jordan beanie, I'd rather match and whatnot. And yeah, I got the custom D Anthony. Hopefully, you guys were able to see the Mamba stitched in the back, just like with my LaMichael James. When you have a personalized jersey, I think those end up being the most special to you, and that's why this one and that LaMichael James Natty jersey, and I also got the patch. Even though we ended up losing that Natty to Auburn and Cam, Newton. That one is probably one of my favorites, just because it's like no one else in Oregon has a jersey that looks like that. It has the name stitched in the back with the patch from the actual bowl game. Joe Buck saying Lil Yachty. What? Yeah, Little Yachty. Well, anytime you get any of these like Caucasian announcers that you know that probably don't listen to rap or very rarely or little, right? And they say, a hip hop name, they always say it like the most whitest way possible. So it sounds like the nerdiest. And like you seem lost when you say it. Like you have no urban backbone in your body. You have no urban friends. You are, you know, they say it in such like a nerdy way. It's going to turn into a GIF, a GIF, or a meme, instantly. Like you can say it like a normal person or someone that knows hip hop, but they always like it's like they either do it on purpose to make it sound like the weirdest way that you could say it, like the nerdiest way that you could say it, or they're doing it on purpose to make fun, because they don't like that type of music. And if you heard people like that, like in your friend group, it's like when you're talking about like rappers like Lil Wayne or Jay Z, Lil Yachty, they always like make fun. They always raise their voice or lower it, or they have some kind of weird fucking tone because they're trying to make fun of what you listen to. Pay attention next time. Little tone change. Good Morning Football, they're stupid. How did they pronounce it on Good Morning Football? Tunechi? I think it's what they did. They Little Tunechi, and they're like, no, Tunchi. Oh, I'm an idiot. Peter Schrager, an idiot. Idiot dog. Just comes and steals my material, dog. Yeah, Washington State. We fear them in Pullman, but at home, we're going to take care of business. 7-7. Good competitive matchup with two defenses that should be playing better than they are. Oh, good defense there. Oh, and then you got a flag for being overly aggressive. Derwin James. Yeah, I'm going for the Chargers. I got Keenan Allen in fantasy, so I got to keep it moving. But I'm telling you, something is weird in the air. Maybe it's because I've been watching Dexter from the very beginning, and I always get this kind of weird vibe. But I found out I fall in love with theme songs to shows, and when I watch like Grimm or Game of Thrones or Dexter or True Blood, I never fast forward it. I've heard it a billion times, and it takes 2 minutes of my day every episode. But it's just something about those theme songs that they almost are like favorite songs to me, even though it's just like a theme song to a show. And I don't know, man. It's just a weird week. This week 6 has been the weirdest week in the NFL all year. Good teams losing to bad teams, teams that should be scoring more points or scoring less, full moons, missed field goals by kickers that normally don't miss, by Groupie and Moody missing 2 each. Like weird. Oh, Derwin James, what happened to my hands? If O-Dog was there, I would have caught that. Where's the stickum? Yeah, I mean, like some of them are so iconic. As soon as you hear bum 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 bum, bum and you see the gears shifting, and you hear you like lose your mind. I mean, if you're a fan of the show, I mean, I'm a nerd, so it's like when I'm into sports and everything, I have to fucking phone down and I'm focusing because you have to pay attention to a show like that if you really want to know what betrayal is going on. If you're just like chilling and watching it, you're gonna miss out on 75% of the really important shit that you'll have to go back and ask a friend or rewatch. Otherwise, you're going to miss it. Like they don't talk, for nothing. It's not all about like the battle scenes and whatnot, which are very cool in that show. And then one of my favorite shows of all time, Stranger Things. Can't wait for that to come back. Literally, Earth will stand still when Stranger Things comes out. Literally, it's gonna be like 50 million people are just gonna be like, "Don't talk to me," and then Stranger Things, and it's gonna be the best 2 days of my life. And also, I'll be the 2 days that I'll be sad because we'll never get another Stranger Things after that. There we go. C.D. Lamb, first down, Cowboys. Nice. Heck yeah. Megan with a 5. Appreciate you. Thank you for not ever not stopping the support. Thank you for staying true, and I appreciate that. Bang bang, bang bang. That's one thing about you. You know, you do things based on how you want to do them. You know, you don't let anyone else affect what you think. You know, what you think is what you think. If I'm going to support, if other people stop supporting, I don't care. I'm going to keep going. And I really do appreciate that about you. And I know that's how you are for Brandon and for the channel. Some people are influenced by other people donating. So when they see other people donating, then they donate. And then if people don't donate, then they don't donate. You know, it's kind of one of those vicious cycles. When it's going good for you, you're like, yes. But then when it's not going good, you're like, no, right? But you've always been steady and very consistent. And consistency is a very big thing in my life. Honesty, loyalty, respect. And I respect your consistency and your love for me and this channel, and as well as the other people in the room. And I really do appreciate you. I wouldn't have given you that chain if I didn't really care about like this, you know, this bond and whatnot. I mean, there's probably only like 5 people that I would have done that for. So maybe even less than that, maybe 3. So it just so happens that you were a Seahawk fan, and I ended up talking to him, and I ended up seeing that, and you know, but I imagine I can end up getting him to make something even cooler than that. He actually has something in the works right now that I can't talk about that I'm going to end up getting from him. And once you'll see it, you'll be like, "Oh my god, I need one," or "I need one in my team," kind of thing. Oh baby, I can't wait. It is sick. Travis Hunter, beast. I mean, you know, plays corner, plays wide receiver, but he is going to have to make a decision on what's the primary and what is he better at. I think I would rather have him at corner. That would be a better for his money and better for him. And then if they want to put him in at punt returner, kick returner, or wide receiver, fine. But be like Dion, be corner first, and then do the wide receiver, punt return, kick return if they ask you. Because if you end up being a wide receiver, you're not going to get paid as much. And you might not get the ball if you go to a shitty team. But if you're a corner, you can make an impact no matter what team you go to. Did he fumble it? Come on, Keenan Allen. Yeah, well, of course we're not going to agree. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? My thing is just to be able to give you guys other opinions that you might not have thought of, right? And then you can either, you know, actually agree with me, or you can at least take it for a thought, you know. But a lot of times what will happen is that people will initially disagree with me, right? And they're like, no, 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 no. Then what I say a couple weeks later, it happens, it sinks in, and then you think about it 2, 3 weeks later or a month later, and you're like, you know what? I see where he was coming from, or fuck, he was right. I didn't see it myself, but now like he had the ESP, he saw it 2 to 3 weeks earlier than anyone else did, you know, on the globe, like you know, on the TV shows, like you know, it's like the Lions being 5-1 and being one of the top 3 teams. I've been telling you all this since the beginning of the season, but again, it's all you know. I don't expect everyone to take everything I say to heart, but I don't speak lies. I'm not biased. So what do I have to gain to lie on the channel? What do I have to gain? It's not like I'm saying Buccaneers, Ducks, Blazers, Mariners, fuck all of y'all. My teams are the best. Your teams suck. I don't care. You know, I'm never pushing my team and my shit. I'll tell you when my team is good, but I also tell you when my team sucks. You know, I don't give my team a special preferential treatment. My players and my team, like I'm as critical as with my team, if not more. I got it's just keeping it real, you know. But sometimes people don't want to like they don't want to hear my real take. They think it's like nah, no way, no, 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 or maybe it's denial, and then all of a sudden, oh shit. And I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna be right on everything, but if you compare me to anybody, right? Who gets more ESP? Who ends up calling and predicting more? I mean, I feel I could be on that Tony Romo level. Hell, I think I'm above and beyond. You know, Romo doesn't do it every game. Second down and 10. Yeah, and that is based on how much I read and watch film. If I was lazy, I wouldn't have the predictions. Oh, baby, first down, Chargers. But I take a lot of pride in that because if I'm on the fantasy app 4 hours a day, I'm reading 6 hours a day, I'm watching film a couple hours a day, I'm recording every day. I'm not going to be an idiot. You know, I don't have anything to gain by being a liar or being fake. There's plenty of fakes that you can watch on YouTube. You know, you got to be able to have someone that's going to keep it straight shooter with you. You know. The difference is I think with us here, we're a little bit more well-rounded and not as biased, even though we are biased, for our teams and players. But over there, it's the toxic, and you're going to get delusional people, and you're going to get people that are going to make other people try to turn on people. You're supposed to go there to have fun and cheer for the same thing, but it ends up being just a kind of like a shit talking fest where it's just toxic, and then they're going to start talking about this player or this coach or this lineman or Gino or whatever. Fire this guy. This guy sucks. And so instead of actually having fun, it ends up being a place where you have to tolerate because you want to support Brandon and the channel. But if it's toxic, and then by the time you're in there for a half hour, and you feel like, like on edge, even if you like a place, it should never make you feel like that. So again, if you end up eliminating those people, right, then you end up having something where it's more of a safe space. If you only care about subs, views, and donos, I'm not saying that Brandon does, but he might. But if you're not willing to eliminate those people, even if they're donating heavy, but they're toxic, then you're just a product of what you want. Likes, views, subs, money, and you don't care about the vibe in the room, and you don't care about the heavy hitters that really care about you. You care about yourself. You don't care about the channel and the other people. You say you do, but you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have those motherfuckers in the room. Those motherfuckers bring you down. One motherfucker that's toxic brings the whole fucking room down. You can have 100 people in the room, have that one person just keep going on, and all of a sudden, then you get to a point where maybe some people leave. Maybe some people leave and unsub. Maybe some people leave unsub and never come back. You got to get to a point where you have to either understand it's not just about the love and the subs and the money and the views, and trying to go viral and be famous. It's about the connection. It's like, it's about being able to vibe and actually care. But again, most people's motives is money and, lies, deception, acting like they care. But, in all honesty, they may care a little, but I mean, they don't. But if you stop donating, would they care as much? You can definitely tell, the relationships of the people that are good, it's not all about money. But for a lot of streamers, that's a number one. That's usually what it is. So. Yeah, but you're never going to have a toxic room here, even when we get big. It ain't going to happen. You know, I just want that for you because I don't want you because you have mental health issues like I do, and I don't want to fucking have fucking depression or anxiety if it's going to get triggered when I'm trying to go somewhere where I actually like some of these people. I like this team. I like this guy. I like this stream. And then you get those couple bad seeds, and then it ruins it. You shouldn't feel that way, and that's just my concern for you. I want you to be on the up and up. There's no point of getting to a point where it's like you're going somewhere and you're still going to go there. And I'm not saying for you not to go there. Go there. Support him to the fullest, like you support me. But it's just I want the best for you because I mean, for people that don't have mental health, anxiety, depression, or OCD, or any other little thing, right? Whatever. But if you do, sometimes something little will trigger you, and then all of a sudden you're in a fucked up mood or a fucked up vibe for not only the rest of the day. Sometimes it carries over a couple days, a week. I can't speak for everyone, but anyone that has depression or anxiety or anything like that, you vibe with me. You get it. First down and 10. Herbert going deep and complete to Keenan Allen. I mean, there's nothing wrong, with just admitting facts and what it is. I read people really well. I feel that every person has a different type of personality. But I guarantee when you go in there, you probably see a few people that you recognize with who they are that probably shouldn't be a part of the channel, but they probably donate or they donate big, and he keeps them around. Or you get people that maybe that don't donate that shouldn't be there, but he keeps them around. I just want the best for you. That's all I'm saying. But that's the difference. It could still be someone that you really like, and there's a lot of great YouTubers that are out there, but you can kind of get to a point where you can see what they really, truly are about. Is it about the fame? Like for me, it's about the connection with you guys and my legacy. To be able to show you guys, the work ethic and to make people not as biased. That's my number one thing. To be real, to be actually someone you can connect with, to be accessible. Being able to vibe with every fan base. It takes a lot of energy and time. To be able to read up and watch film on every team, but it's worth it because you guys are worth it. The guy's he's all choke slamming, and Micah Parsons got him around the neck. Sean Slater's beast. All right, we got a minute 22 left in the second quarter. Still knotted up at 7. Herbert scrambling for his life. Go, go, go. Parham out of bounds. Yeah. But the thing is, if it wasn't toxic, you would be there every day. You'd alternate here, there, here, sometimes there, sometimes here, you know. I mean, I'm just trying to point out something to you that you've always known, that you pushed kind of to the side, you tolerate it, but that doesn't mean it's okay, But again, that's the difference between a lot of channels. Some are safe, some are not. Most are not. 99% are not. Herbert? Incomplete. But I hope things calm down. But again, every loss, right, is going to be more toxic. And even when you win, you're going to get someone complaining about something that doesn't even need to be talked about. That's when you have too many people in a room that like the same team. You're never going to get along, because you're going to have smart people, and then you're going to have fucking straight up idiots in there and is arguing, or arguing over shit that is so irrelevant. Like, why are we arguing? Can't we just enjoy this team? But there's always going to be people that know football, and then people that think they know football. 5-0 Phillies. You left ASAP. It's not worth your mental health. People don't get it. If you're one of us, you understand. You can get triggered, certain things. We've all gone through tough times. Some of us, deal with it differently. Some of us have vices that we kind of turn to. But anytime you've ever had something like that, it's not something like, oh, go see help, go get a doctor. Why are you that way? Everyone deals with things differently, and sometimes you got to just be able to put yourself in the best position to win every day. Pass incomplete. Like me exercising, getting outside with Paisley, that makes me happy. I've lost weight. I feel good. I know that she needs it more than me, even though we need it equally. And if it was just me, it'd be a lot harder to lose 60, 70 pounds. Walking by yourself is one of the hardest things to fucking do. Exercising by yourself, you have to be so fucking motivated. You're like, oh, eat pizza or fucking work out. Eat pizza. That's a eat tacos or go for a run. Yeah, tacos. But having a pet, definitely, that she's a godsend. She's an angel. Oh, CD. First down, Cowboys. We them boys. Move the chains. Yeah. Plus, I want to be able to pass down knowledge, make you guys smarter. That way you guys know football, not as biased. You guys can make money. You can get good predictions. You'll be good at fantasy football. You'll know more than everyone else in your friend group. You'll have really good takes. You're not going to be that idiot. You're just expanding your knowledge. First down and 10. I mean, there's a reason why the big networks and the video game companies come here and watch me. They know. I'm not famous, but that doesn't mean that they're not stealing my shit already. Even pre-fame, they're stealing my shit. Zach Lunch putting it in Madden. Peter Schrager stealing Uncle Mo 2 times. I mean, come on, man. Like I said, a lot of the YouTubers get watched by all the networks. They have social media groups as well as the hosts themselves. They watch because they're looking to see what's hot on the streets and seeing what's hot on YouTube or Twitch. A lot of talent out there. We're not just reading off a fucking teleprompter or in front of a fucking iMac. It's like a lot of us are living it, watching it, recording it, making videos, putting in that really hard work. And the people that work the hardest are the ones that are going to get the sponsorship deals, podcasts, TV, collabs. Our day's coming. What's next for the Oregon Ducks after the loss? To be competitive in the Pac-12, not to hang our head. USC's coming up in a couple weeks, so that'll be really hard, but it is at Austin, so we'll have a good chance. Oregon State is our biggest threat besides USC because they have a well-rounded team on offense and defense. I feel that even if we would have beat Washington and USC at Austin, we would have lost to Oregon State at the end of the year. They're that good. like I feel that people are sleeping on them just because it's Oregon, Oregon State, and like Oregon is popular, Oregon State isn't. But just because they're not popular doesn't mean they're not good. I should know because I spy on them. I watch all their shit. I watch every game they play. Plus, two of my really good friends, Jake and Marcos, are diehards, as well as my stepsister and her husband. So they like go to the games. You know, it's not like, oh, we watch occasionally. No, these motherfuckers are at the game, like me when I go to Autzen, like, you know, cheering, getting crazy, supporting through and through, like for life, you know, like me with the Mariners and the Ducks. It's like if I can go to the games the most, Blazer games are cool, but I'm closer on the, you know, the Duck side and the Mariners side over the Blazers. And it's Tampa so far away. You know, what am I going to do? I mean, hopefully I get to go a couple times, but if I go, I want to sit in the ship and I want to fire the cannon off the touchdown, and then I want to sit in the front row or in the first 5 rows, you know, behind the Buck bench, you know, somewhere between the 10 and the 10, you know, wherever it may be. So. But we'll see, you know. But we got 4 teams. We got USC, we got Oregon State, we got Oregon, and we got UW. You know, Michael Penix Jr. had his Heisman moment, so he's the favorite now over Caleb. And it'll probably be a 2-man race between Caleb and Michael Penix Jr., depending on who plays better towards the end of the year. So boom, you got more intelligence in that first 1 minute than you do on a 30-minute program on TV. You know, you get real shit, you get real answers, no bullshit. You know, and you get opinions and things based on someone that actually reads and watches, because most people don't know what fucking Oregon State. But when you get Ugalele over there from Clemson, it's the first time you got a transfer, and they're building something over there. Like Jonathan Smith, the coach for the Beavers, was the quarterback with Ocho Cinco and TJ Houshmandzadeh. That was when we played Joey Harrington, and they were good too. Both of our teams were like 10-win teams. So when you know your history, you can see things before other people see them, and you're like, oh, okay. I fucking knows. Derwin James always trying to headhunt. You know that. Well, the defense. Like I kept telling with Megan, you know, sometimes it's not an attack when I say something's not good about a team. Like for me, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my team, sucks at running. We have no running backs that can do absolutely anything, and it fucking is miserable, right? But if anyone said it to me, I'm not going to be like, screw you. I'm like, yeah, I know, it sucks. So, you know, sometimes you have to understand where people that when they watch your team and they point something out, it's like, yeah, probably is true. And they're not going to get exposed that bad every game. But when you're playing a team in the top 15, Notre Dame had a couple close, you know, wins and losses. You know, I'm not saying that that's going to happen with Oregon. We're playing at Autzen, but it could still be a very close game. USC could still win. We could end up winning 38-35, or we could end up blowing them out, or they could blow us out. You never know. But the Autzen environment is going to be very hard on them. Like there is a good chance that we pick Caleb off once or twice and get a couple sack lunches on him, just because we have such a loud, like, environment. Like it's really cool that I'm a part of one of the top 3, top 4 in college football based off the decibels. You know, only people who are ahead of us are like the Ohio State, Michigan, and like the Bama. You know, the schools that have like 100,000 capacity. We're 50 to 55,000. So for every 2 drunks over there, that's 1 or half of 1 for us. We're like 2 people in 1. That's a lot of decibels. Field goal's good. 10-7 Cowboys. But we'll see what happens between those teams. So I must have had some kind of bill go through. Uh-oh, what happened here? Maybe we'll get some Cash App and then we'll figure that out. And sometimes you'll have money. Sometimes, you know, you overdraw, you know, when the bill comes out, depending on what you have. Oh, StreamYard. StreamYard took out their fee. Negative $20. Well, if we get like a $5 dono on Cash App, then I think we'll be good. So with what's in there now. So we'll end up getting $5 on Cash App from now to the end of the stream or more, and we'll be good. 10-7, close game. Like I said, this is just a weird week. Like out of all the weeks, like everything, it's like the upside down in Stranger Things. Like, what is up is down and down is up, and it's just good teams losing to bad teams, good field goal kickers missing easy stuff. Like, just like the craziest week that you could literally write up in the script, right, is this week. Yeah. $25. I think I had like just five sitting in there, right? Like, because sometimes I'll pay bills, I'll pull money, and sometimes I have money, sometimes I put money here, put money there, and then sometimes you just have this a few dollars in there, and then I'm waiting for like, if I do get cash out, then I can put it in there. But sometimes we'll just get donos on the super chat. So when that happens, then eventually you just have to get something so that way I can put money over there, and then we'll be good. So, but I think that, like I said, if we get a fiver or more, then I'll be able to bring that over tonight, and then we will. Hopefully we do, because I think it's like three something at least, 350 to 5. So that way I can end up doing that. I appreciate you. $20 holla. Thank you so much. Your support is great. And eventually we'll get more people to copy that vibe. Everyone's budget is going to be different, and we'll end up getting some more heavy hitters, and then they'll vibe off each other, and then we'll have a dono train, and then when more dono trains happen, I don't care about that. For me, this is not me. This is actually me looking at this, right, and then converting, and then trying to buy some cool shit for you guys. I'd rather buy stuff for you guys than actually buy stuff for myself. I mean, I got plenty of toys and jerseys. Like, of course, who wouldn't want a new pair of shoes, or like a new jersey, But if it's like you can give something to someone that doesn't have something, but then could rock something and be proud of it, it's like once we get on a big, big dono train, if we get it on the Cash App side and on the Super Chat side, like, I would like to be able to get, like Elliot a jersey. You know what I mean? Like, you might have a jersey here, jersey there, screen print or whatever. But if you're one of the goats and you're one of the regulars, and you're young, you don't got a whole lot of money, it's like, to me that would be like a very meaningful gift, because with him it would be something that if I got him like a baseball jersey, like a Padres one, he would wear it like in front of his friends. He would wear it a lot, and that would mean something. It'd be like a piece of his wardrobe, but something that he can show off and be like, look at my jersey, type thing. So I don't know. That's just how I am. Appreciate you. $20 holla. $2 to the 50. You're awesome. We appreciate you. But this is one thing. We may not agree, and you can agree to disagree, but do you feel that you've come out, based off Brandon's streams? He has his style. We have our style here. But one thing is for sure, right? We might not be all Seahawks fans in this room, but you will learn more about who's good and who's not, and know more about NFL and football and college football here than any other channel that you ever go to for the rest of your life. Like, I feel that you can come here for even one show and get more knowledge than you're going to get from another show, maybe doing 7 shows. Like, it's just about, you can tell who's got that knowledge and whatnot. And I feel that you know more about the league, and you still got a long ways to go. But I think since joining, and us making you feel at home and, giving you the 12 treatment, I feel that like you've learned quite a bit. You're still going to have your own opinions about your Seahawks players, your Seahawks coaches, and you should. But as far as like outside opinion about other teams, that doesn't affect you directly. And then, and you say, thinks Lions are good. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Like you start to put shit together, and then they don't necessarily have to be your opinions also. But if it comes up in conversation, you're like, oh yeah, we talked about that. They're really well balanced. That's why he thinks they're so good. The O line and the D line. And then you start picking up on that. And then you start comparing it to like that team compared to your own. And then once you start looking at your team and seeing their team and like noticing that maybe they have something that you don't, then you know where to go moving forward to get your team to that level. So, you've learned a lot. I mean, you might, thank you so much. Nice. Yeah, I appreciate that. That actually is going to get me to the positive tonight, because I really wanted to make sure. So I think I have 22 now. And then after they take, like whatever, like 10 cents or whatever, then that should be able to hopefully put me in the positive. I think I was, let me look, it's negative. Let me see, hold on. It's life stuff, negative 2049. Okay. And then I'm at, where am I at on the Cash App? 22. And they'll take a fee. So hopefully that's enough. Well, maybe we'll get another $5 on there. And as long as I pay it back, I don't get charged with a penalty. So depending on your bank, sometimes when you overdraft, like you get this like $36 thing, and you're like, holy shit, I'm already fucking down 20. Now another 36. Shit, not good sometimes, right? Having to eat ramen and kind of make do. But yeah, as long as I pay it tonight, and if we get at least one more, and then that'll put me on a little bit of a buffer, and then then I'll just convert that over, and then I'll be in the positive. So sometimes I know when shit is coming out, and honestly, sometimes I just I don't know, and I just okay, well once it happens, I get the alert. I'm like, oh fuck, you know. But I appreciate that. $5 halla, trying to get me in the positive. Let's go, baby. $5 halla. $55 hairs. Appreciate you. Let me know what you guys want for photos and whatnot. And the thing is you can have your own like biased hawk opinions about your players and your coach, and you can be that way. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then if you can be more open minded when you start having topics about opponents that you're playing or what we think about them, and then some people are gonna down like low ball, like act like the Lions aren't that good, and then you start to realize even though you beat them, right? Then you start to look at like oh wow, like they actually might be the best team in the NFL. They might be one of the top three in the NFC, which they are based off record with the Eagles and Niners losing. If you actually look at the team that's played the best football, that's the hottest right now, you could argue the Lions' trajectory is going upwards while the other teams are kind of going on a downward slope. So it is possible for the Lions to overachieve or to be that team that O-Dog is always root for. And the sports gods are like, here you go. We're going to give you something magnificent. So I just try to be able to let you guys know like what's going to happen before it happens. The writing sometimes is on the wall. It just depends if you can see it. But am I surprised that they have the number one record in the NFL? I'm not. Like I said, it's balance. Like that's the number one thing. If you ever, you want to debate with other, people, does the team have the balance? The O line, the D line, the defense, the coaching, the play calling. Those are the most important things in sports for the NFL side. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end doesn't matter. O line, D line, defense, right? D line, coaching, play calling. If you got those other pieces don't matter as much. Oh, thank you. No, that helps. That helps. So now I'm good for sure because whatever fee comes out, it'll be like probably $1, and then that'll put me at least at like $5 over, $4 over. So thank you. Yeah, going over is no good. No bueno. And it'd be nice not to have to actually physically go to the bank or something. It's been raining hard here in Oregon, but I've still been able to take Paisley on walks. Try to find that like hour break between like the thunderstorms, and we went on a walk early in the morning, and then we did one at noon. I got to get my exercise in. If it's like just sprinkling, I'm going. Like she needs to go to the bathroom, and we need to get out there and stretch our legs. I got to be able to have sanity. I got to grind it out with you guys. All right, bang, 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 boom, 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 bang, bang. But I got to get outside. I got to smell nature. I got to get out there and have adventures with my pup. And then also I got to watch Alaska programs, cartoons. I got to be able to go to the 80s. I got to be able to make sure I'm doing those things every day, keeping myself busy. Ooh, Darth Maul, good choice. Yeah, and one thing, I might not, be a fan of the same things as every, football fan, right? But I am a nerd, and if you're a nerd, then it doesn't matter that one person's Seahawks, one person's Colts, one person's Buccaneers. Like if you like DC, you like Marvel, you like Star Wars, or it's like, all right, we're gonna vibe. It's like we can vibe on certain things, but like not all of us are collectors. Not all of us like let's say like wrestling. Not all of us like Star Wars. Like, some of us are in that like, oh my gosh, like this is a big part of my life. Like obviously me being a hardcore toy collector, it's like I don't know anyone else in my friend group that's like me. I'm like kind of like the the only one. But I like it. It's something I enjoy, and it makes me happy. I don't know. Like, it's like some people that collect cards, and sports cards are cool and I like them, but I actually like bobbleheads and like cars and like toy cars and toys and figures like more. Like I'm more of a toy guy, even though I love cards. I love graded cards, autograph, but just something about a bobblehead or a starting lineup or a Hot Wheel or a Lego vehicle or a McFarlane or a starting lineup. There's nothing that can Star Wars figure, Ninja Turtle figure. I mean, wrestling figures. I mean, come on. I mean, there's so much enjoyment I get. Like my favorite thing to do back when Toys R Us existed was actually going there once or twice a week and actually seeing what they had for the toy line and then doing collections there. So that way I could get the mint version. I wouldn't have to, wait on eBay or, do something crazy through like Amazon. Like I want to hand pick it myself. And if I'm not going to a garage sale, I want to make sure I get the best figure because if you buy a $20 figure, but it's mint, right? Someone could offer you $100 for that figure, but people are dumb and they don't realize that. So just because you buy a figure for 10 or 20 bucks doesn't mean that's all you're going to get. If you get a mint version of it or close to, right, someone will offer you $50 to $100 to a $20 figure if it's mint. Just like cards, things are graded. And if you have a nice one, people will pay more for the nice box. I know I will. It's like $20 figure, but you got a mint one? Oh, yeah. 50 hundo, no problem. And I'm not the only one that's like that. Nice box, nice corners, or it's got good graphics on it, or it's got like stats on the back, like if it's a wrestling figure, or it's got some like promotional stuff where it's got other wrestling figures on the back. What's cooler than that? Nothing. I like the Black series. I got a lot of them. They're expensive, but they're nice. And I actually have some of them still in the package, like I never opened. Oh, they're doing the Mo Bamba, the Sheck West. That's the number one song to get things going at a party, anywhere. Let's go. What do you know about that? Star Wars, G.I. Joes, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, He-Man, Skeletor. Shit, Leonard Fournette's visiting the Bills. How about Leonard Fournette comes back to the Bucks? We got no running game. Come on, baby. Los Angeles Chargers. All right, Herbert, let's go to Keenan Allen some more so I can get some more fantasy points. Yeah, send me. I like it as well. Plus, I like being able to brag about you guys and show you guys off. It's not always about me and obviously I try to bring a room together and I give you guys my all with everything I do with the thumbs and the graphics and the stream and the knowledge and the vibe. I mean, most hosts want it to be about them, always about them, and never about anyone else. You know, but you're nothing without the people that support you, friends or fans. So once you realize that, it's cool to be able to, show stuff for you guys instead of just me showing my stuff. I mean, yeah, that whatever. I mean, like, but what about what you guys got? You guys are the best. Why wouldn't I want to brag about you guys? First down and 15, 10-7, Cowboys. Play action fake for Herbert. Steady in the pocket, towards the sideline. Intended receiver, Keenan Allen. No fantasy points for O Doggy Dog. Thank you, Sarah and Megan, for helping out. 60 doll hairs, 40 to go. 3-2 Cowboys, 2-2 Chargers. It's kind of the standard for them. Every year, lots of hope, lots of expectations, but every year we get the same kind of disappointment. And what really sucks about it too is that they actually have good players on both teams. That's what hurts the most, and what people like poke fun, or people are just like they don't understand. You know, like if you had Herbert and Eckler and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams as your players, you'd love it. You know, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. Well, I mean, who wouldn't like that? You know, Dak, CD, Tony Pollard, Micah Parsons. Yes, please sign me up. Dan Quinn, hell yeah. But then McCarthy, boo. Staley, boo. You know, first down and 10, shotgun set. Like if you could just get the right coaching and the right people in charge, both of these teams could make a Super Bowl. But since they're stuck in this like repeat pattern of destructive behavior, you're always going to underachieve unless those changes get made. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I mean, and it sucks. I mean, I should know. I'm like the biggest Herbert guy. It hurts and it's painful to see someone so good being wasted. I mean, he's doing his best that he can. You know, and especially when a guy, you know, that I'm glad he didn't win the Heisman, that he actually did bigger things than Mariota, even though Mariota won the Heisman. Like, he can go down as the best Oregon Duck we've ever had in our team's history. But he might need to go to that second team to be able to achieve that success. So now you got Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore, two dumbasses that don't know football to the degree that they think they do, and they outcoach themselves and they get too aggressive. This is not college football. You're not Chip Kelly. You're not the Oregon Ducks. This is the NFL. There are consequences when you go for two and you do dumb things like go for it on fourth down. And, you know, it's like, I get it, being aggressive, but how often does that pay off? If the stats and the analytics say 10%, why the fuck are you running the plays? Flag on the play. See, there's a difference between smart people and dumb people. Smart people and people that take chances. So they're not necessarily stupid. They're just risk takers. Like they're the ones that go to the casino and then they, you know, bring like $1,000 thinking they're going to win 4,000. And then all of a sudden they lose all their money within like 10 minutes. Got to learn. Sometimes it's better to be safe than sorry, to take the analytics to heart. And if you are going to be that way, right, do it at the appropriate time, not all the time take risks. You know, take that risk in the fourth quarter. You know, avoid the ones in the first, second, and third. It's okay to be a little conservative and get 3 points. It's not sexy. Like, you know, when you have a draft and you end up having the first or second pick and you pick an offensive lineman, who's happy about that? Really? It's not sexy like a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver. Like, even if you know the guy's Hall of Fame, you're just like, you know, at least most of the fan base is, you know, because they don't get that appreciation. But if it's a guy like an Orlando Pace, you know, where you know you're going to win a Super Bowl, you're like, oh my God, Jonathan Ogden? Yes, please. They got Ray Lewis and Jonathan Ogden in the same draft. It's like Warren Sapp and Derek Brooks. You're never going to get drafts like that ever again. Two Hall of Famers, fuck out of here. And some of the best players that have ever played their position ever. Sapp, D tackle, Brooks, outside linebacker, Ray Lewis, middle linebacker, and then obviously offensive line stud, Jonathan Ogden. Guard dog. Parham, baby. Ooh, cool. Do you have any of the Black series? I really like the Black series. That's cool. I got like stuff that's from the Black series where it's like a model where you have Darth Vader and you can position the figure and it like talks. And there's like phrases that are said and you can put stormtroopers on it. But it was the more expensive, you know, usually costs like 30, 40, $50. But if you have a mint one, you can get, you know, more than 100 for it. But I've never opened a few of them, but I got one that is with Daisy Ridley, right? Where the front of the box opens up. It's got like Velcro, and it opens up, and you can see like her and her gear, Ray. Right? I got that. I was like, I don't care if it's a girl. I'm buying this. This is fucking cool. And then I also bought the Darth Vader with the base, and it glows in the dark, and batteries go in it. I've never opened it though. Keenan Allen, baby, first down. Chargers, because I think with the Darth Vader one, if I open it, the box gets compromised. You know, there's no going back. It's not like a tab where you can push the tab back, take the flap out, open it up gently, take the cool figure out, play around with it, pose it, and then take a picture, boom, put it back in the box, stare at the box instead. You know, like some of them have those packages. It's like, oh, it's either I open it or I leave it in there. So I have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure it's got like, it's glued. So it's like, and then, yeah, it's ruined. So I was like, nah, I'm keeping it mint. But I've always dreamed of like what it would be like to get the batteries and put it in and to like, what does it say? Like, what are the phrases? What does it sound like? It's going to be cool. And then it's going to light up and it's like dark red. Pretty cool. And then the figure is a big size figure. It's like a Black Series figure with the base. So it's like, if you had to go to Toys R Us or a toy place, you're paying like 40, 50, 60 bucks. And this is at the store. So then, the value will go up based off, and then, Toys R Us doesn't exist. It's like I'm a toy guy, and I usually have some stuff loose on purpose, so that way I can feel the figures and pose them. But sometimes it's like you got to keep things in the box. Herbert, sidearm. That's very cool. It's cool too because it's like you love pops, and that's like the one thing that I don't love as much as like other things. But it's cool to be able to see your stuff because I don't have to be a fan of it, but I can see what you have and like what you have. It's not something I'm probably ever going to collect because I have different type of style and taste. I'd rather do like a McFarlane. That's just what I grew up with starting lineup. But I do think they're cool. They are collectible. They're worth money. There's many variations like starting lineups and specifically McFarlane's. So I understand the rarity, the vibe. It's worth money. There's different versions. It's cool. Oh, Herbert. Yeah. First down, Chargers. Go Ducks. That's my boy. J. Herb, the best duck that has ever put on cleats. And he's from Shelton High School near Eugene. So he actually is Oregon born and bred. Actually went to duck games with his grandpa when he was a kid. So that's what makes it really special for me. It's like, Joey Harrington and Dennis Dixon and Marcus Mariota, all these other guys, but it's not like homebred and like the size. And the best part about him is he's smart. You're never going to hear him, like get in trouble with the law. He's always going to be working about football, and he's super intelligent, like biologist, like does like the biology. The guy is special. And if you got it up here, yeah, you're going to have a chance to make an AFC championship game, at least one or two before your career's up. Herbert? Almost picked. Bland. It's cool because, like I said, I don't have to buy them, but you buy them, and then you can just show me. Or if you see a cool one, you can send me a photo, and then it's like, oh, cool. All right, hold up. This one is cool. All right, hold up. I sent it to Sarah. This is Megan's. She's a huge pop collector like I am with bobbleheads and McFarlane's and starting lineups and toys in general, but has more of these than me. Obviously, I don't collect these, but it just depends on like what they are and how they're themed. They do them with sports and pop culture and Marvel and DC. There literally is nothing that they can't make a pop of. It's pretty brilliant. And there's variations that are worth more money than others, so that's why they're so collectible. And I don't necessarily like pops, but if I was actually going to buy one, Darth Maul is my number one. So I would definitely buy this. If I were going to buy a pop, that I would buy that. But again, I like more of the standard old school figures, GI Joe, old Star Wars, like the 3-inch figures, or getting into like the bigger figures that are more detailed, that have more capes, more weapons. Wrestling figures. Like the Black Series with a Star Wars is like 5 or 6 inch figure. Also, Walking Dead. I like the Walking Dead figures. So there's a lot of stuff that if it's a figure and it's detailed and it's cool, like one of the coolest ones that I own that's not worth the most in my collection, but it's one that I kind of like is one of like my sweet gems that I would never sell for 50 to 100 bucks because it's not worth it. It is the Walking Dead toy line, Daryl Dixon crossbow figure. But the best part is the motorcycle that he rides in the show they did a miniature scale version through McFarlane to have all the bells and whistles, the light, the knife, all the stuff, and it's like in a box set. And I'm a big fan of that show. You know, they did a Fear the Walking Dead, the other show. Didn't buy those figures, but some of the Walking Dead figures are worth like bank, 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 like mega bank if you bought them. Because a lot of people, even toy collectors, they didn't buy them right away. Then the show took off, and it was too late to get the good shit because it was already like gone. But um, yeah, I got a couple. I got a couple, but that one is cool because I think it's just iconic. It's a part of like who I am, Daryl, right? Always one of my favorites in the show. And then having the motorcycle in there with the crossbow, I mean, it's game over. If you know toys, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then you know, accessories are everything. Motorcycle in the package, get out of here. Like it took a lot out of me to not open that and put Daryl on the motorcycle bike and just like fuck around with it and then just like pose it and just look at it. You know, sometimes like with the toys are so cool, I want to see the functions and I want to like, you know, I'm a big kid at heart, so plus like you know if you are a toy person, like there's different mechanics on how toys work, also too. So it's like being able to go through those functions is cool. Also, it's cool. 10-7 Cowboys. Let me know what photos you guys want periodically, and I'll do some. Second down and 10-7 Cowboys. Deep in their own territory. Dak, are you going to throw a pick? Will it be a pick six? Or are you going to march the chains and move the chains? Hand off. Dak went from a quarterback that we had as a top 8 quarterback to a quarterback now when we watch him, we almost anticipate him failing like Jimmy G, you know, where we know that like, okay, you're handsome, right? But that doesn't get you W's. And you're like almost every game, regardless if Jimmy G is on the Niners, you know, or anywhere else, New England, even though he didn't have as many there, or the Raiders, or now with Dak, it's like, you know, Dak can do good, but it's like there's this like gut feeling where you're like, oh, he might fuck up. Like he might throw a pick or two, or it might be even pick six. Like that's not a good vibe to have when you're supposed to be a top 10 quarterback. You know, that's when you know you're going on the downward trajectory where maybe you are what you are. You're not going to get any better. It's like Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston. Awesome. Heisman. Cool. You know, going to the natty. But like some guys, they don't get better. Like you're just as good as you are against college competition, and that's where you cap out at. And sometimes that's a harsh reality. You know, or you get slightly better and you get hurt like Mariota and you never can stay healthy. So you're never going to make it because you never can keep your body healthy enough to have people believe in you and you can be a quarterback for 3 seasons in a row. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, at least Mariota is better than Jameis now, but not everyone pans out at quarterback. It's very difficult to be elite in the NFL. I need some Keenan Allen fantasy points, baby. Yeah. But some things need to be opened up, like Ninja Turtle band, you know, and like putting some figures in there, and like just like the smell and like the vintage vibes. You know, just how, like how toys were made in the 70s, 80s, and 90s is so different now. So it's like if you have some of those, it's like I got NWO figures on the desk behind me. So I got like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hollywood Hogan. I got the barricade. I got the spray paint cans that say NWO. The belt. It comes with Hogan with his like cutoff shirt where it's like removable, stunner shades. It's just like, I don't know. I got the Kevin Nash too, and it's got like the frills, so they use like the rubber on the side for the frills in his pants. Josh Downs and Jake T. Pete, real Pete. It's good because like everyone's got different things. So that way we can, check out different players, and I'll give my breakdown and evaluation. And I be, it's fair and honest on everyone. And it's cool to be able to put a name to a face because most people, they hear a name, but they don't know what the guy looks like unless you're super hardcore or that guy's on your team. Like, how many people on planet Earth, right, know who this is? Like, you're not going to get very many at all. Hell, there's probably some Colts fans that still are like, okay, who is this? Oh, Colts. Horseshoe. Kind of good. Ooh, baby. Just got to get him back, to where, he was. But you know what's more important about this team? I don't need to be a Colt fan per se not to know what is going right and what's going wrong. But what's more valuable is than Jonathan Taylor being the guy that he was is getting that offensive line to back where it was when Quentin Nelson was like a top 2 player on the offensive line, and that offensive line was top 5 in the NFL. It slipped. And you can tell, and we need to get that shit back. And once we get that shit back, better receivers, better tight end. Figure out what you're going to be doing with the quarterback situation. Hopefully, AR will get healthy. Defense needs a facelift. Some pieces are there. DeForest Buckner, and a few others, as we know. Studs up the middle, coming back with name changes. Okay, but there needs to be more. 10-7 Cowboys. But if you end up improving that first, this will fall into place. But it's not going to happen if the O line doesn't help, and that was a part of it. People, Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan. Oh, maybe the O line was a big part of it, and now the O line isn't as good, and now you're seeing you're not getting the same results. You might have similar players, but you're like, what the fuck is going on? Is it Jonathan Taylor or is it the line? And the answer is it's the fucking line. Houdini, Harry Houdini, call that audible, baby. Reflect in the building. Reflect is really good at fantasy. He might win the championship this year. I think if you're looking at the teams, he might be the favored one. If you look at the roster, no major injuries with the guys that you have in the starting lineup, injuries that were in the bench, but the guys that you actually have starting are doing better than the guys that if you have that were injured, you would still start the ones that you have. You drafted well. You picked up all the running backs. And getting a nice combination of Breece Hall and Raheem Mostert, I would have done that. So that is really big. You could get Saquon Barkley, and I know you have some of these other guys, but like a Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs this year, Raheem Mostert, right? Paired up with like a Breece Hall, that's more valuable. Or like a Kenneth Walker. Like you don't have to have the most famous name, but if you know the guy's going to be a bell cow and maybe get in the end zone, like you don't have to have the most famous name. Sometimes you just have to have the most famous offense. And Mike McDaniel, boom, Raheem Mostert ends up being the best running back in 2023. Smart. Very, very smart. He's very, very smart. But I got a battle. It's like I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, oh, this guy's doing exactly what I would do. Like when I go running back heavy, I don't go to that extreme, but the depth is so important. And then it's like you keep getting running backs, but then you keep getting hurt and you got to get more. And there's nothing left for the rest of the league. Everyone else is like just looking at the dog shit. All the good shit is on your bench. Anyone who could use, but you just got it sitting there collecting dust. You're playing a game of keep away from people like me. It's pretty brilliant. I would have done the same damn thing. Good for you. Guy's kind of smart. Five minutes left. I got some more photos on the way. Come on, Herbert. Yeah, baby. My boy Keenan Allen. My boy Keenan Allen. Give me some fantasy points. Yeah. Let's go. And I lucked out too when a lot of you guys in the draft, we didn't have a lot of value for Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, and that proved to be really, really good on top of my Jay Jetta Amon Ra. Now, I didn't predict Jay Jetta was going to be the only person in the first round injured. That hurt my, chances of winning it all. But a good thing, because imagine if I would have went running back heavy, I would have been screwed. I mean, I might be screwed as it is anyways, but for now, I'll be first place in the league. But and it was creepy too, because remember, I told Chief once you get an injury, you're three heavy Josh Allen, Devontae Adams, or Christian McCaffrey. I was like, me and Reflect are going to catch up, and we're going to pass you. And he was undefeated. And look, boom, said it. Sports gods heard it. Injury, and now all of them. And now Reflect, boop, 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 trying to run away with the championship. Now you just got to hope that your running backs don't get hurt, because if that happens, then I'm going to win, or I'll be up there. But it's like I got to feed off other positions. I don't got the running back game on my team. I'm just trying to get to 10 points with each guy. I'm trying to heavy hit with everywhere else. Kicker, defense, quarterback, and specifically wide receiver and tight end. So, oh man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, imagine how many people would be like, Pete Carroll needs to be fired because they lost to the Bengals on the road. That type of gibberish makes you like dumber. It's like you can't even like have a normal conversation. Like, you get in there with all the other 12s and people start being negative. There was a couple good chances, and really what it came down to is that their D line was able to penetrate and get enough pressure. Otherwise, if Gino just had about a second more on a few of those plays, the game's over. They win. And so when you have guys like Trey Hendrickson, you have to realize I want that. That's what you need for Seattle. That disruptor to help you out with whatever you have on the team now. Add that, and then that's how you win the game. Eckler. But so far, last couple of years, a couple questionable draft picks. Everything has panned out. Some guys start a little bit slower than others. Still, you could have ended up going a different direction. Jalen Carter is actually doing very, very good. He'll be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Same thing with, the Seahawks stud as well. So, you're getting Witherspoon. It took him a little bit longer, but when he went for his boom shakalaka bang, he went pick six, sack lunches. It's like all of a sudden nothing. You're too skinny. You're too small. What did you do, Pete? This was dumb. This is a dumb one. All the others were good, but this one's dumb. And then he's like, give it a little bit more time, oh dog. And I was like, okay. And then you surprise the hell out of all of us. Herbert. So, and sometimes you pick guys that are the best players. And for most teams, you pick the right player for your team, even though there's a guy that, maybe you draft this guy 10 spots lower. That's what everyone else would do. You pick him at 5, everyone else would pick him at 15 to 30 or second round. But if it's your guy and you fall in love with the personality and who they are and their work ethic and you think that it can work, then you're going to pick your guy. And sometimes people flop on them and they fuck up. And then that talented guy turns into a Hall of Famer and you're like, oh God, what did we do? But then other times it just, it works out. Or you end up being a bust. Shotgun set, Herbert, go to Keenan Allen. Floater, incomplete. That's not Keenan Allen. For two offenses that are supposed to be explosive, why are we at 10-10? You know what I mean? Like most people, oh, Cowboys, Chargers, like the names are there, right? The names are there. But the offensive lines, not really, not to where they need to be. And it's funny how something as simple as just having a good offensive line will take the difference between a teams that are scoring 10 to teams that are scoring 40. The importance of good offensive lines. You got a couple opportunities late, big to Tyler Lockett deep. He made some big catches. Tyler, get to the door and lock it. He's underrated too. He might be the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL overall. I've had him in my top 3 most underrated for like the last 5 years. So, and he's got great hands. Like, he actually has number 1 skills as a number 2 receiver. You don't see that. That's what makes him different. Doesn't drop the football in the red zone. Very, very mentally strong. Has gone through like depression and some anxiety and some mental health shit, and has overcome and has been just amazing. People know. Like DK Metcalf is more popular, but sometimes the guy you trust the most is going to be Lockett, especially if it's going to be like a big moment, a big third down. Sometimes DK will make it, but sometimes he's so muscular. Yeah, and sometimes he don't. He don't make it. But then with Lockett, nothing about size. If you're going to throw it to the area, he'll have a better chance to use his athleticism and get his body in the right spot for the first down or the touchdown. A little bit more reliable. More boom with DK, 2 touchdowns, 110 yards, but consistently 50, 60, 90, 100, touchdown, 2 touchdowns, touchdown, no touchdowns. Like you could argue that this piece is more valuable than DK if you're talking about consistency. Like DK's, both of them are irreplaceable, but again, someone like Lockett is so undervalued. I like to learn about the people, Yeah, and if I was biased, I mean, I would have no idea how great this guy is, and it's not just because I live in the Pacific Northwest. You just have to watch games. He's literally like the most famous, non-famous, NFL player that like the diehards and the fantasy football people we know. If you're a Seahawks fan, if you live in Oregon, But I think a lot of people like they don't really understand Doug Baldwin was there, and they had they weren't as good as these guys. Like these guys are gonna go down with like Steve Largent as like three of the best that they've ever had. Like exciting to see players like that. I like guys that are overshadowed, that might be a 2 or a 3, but they show skills as like a wide receiver 1. 'Cause, you can't take guys like that for granted. Another good one is Chris Godwin, a guy that can play a 1 on any team, but, being a compliment, is pretty nice. Like you got 2 guys at wide receiver that could score every game, like for sure. And sometimes each guy can score 2 or 3. Like how many NFL teams can say that about, their wide receiver core? Like maybe 5 of us that can say that. I mean, Seahawks are one of them. So Jackson Smith-Njigba has been a flop up to this point. Hasn't really found himself, got enough targets. Has made some pretty good catches, but now we're waiting on him. Is that the mistake? Was Witherspoon the one that we thought was a mistake? We had too much faith in Smith-Njigba, or is it Witherspoon ended up being better, and now it's like, okay, maybe this guy will be a part of the team, but maybe he won't. Still a little too early to tell, but I mean, nothing really shows me that like, oh, this was the right pick so far. Like at this point, it looks like he's not really working that well yet. He's not like a key piece of the offense, but also you have to get targets. But just the vibe I get, like he could be replaced. There could be someone that could come in that's better to add to TK and Lockett. I don't want just anybody. I need someone that's like reliable and good. So we'll see. But if he can get to like the Tyler Boyd level as the number 3, then you're really fucking cooking. You don't have to get like, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase status, but at least be Tyler Boyd or better, and then okay, then it's not a bust. Nice tackle. Kenneth Murray. Ridiculous that this game is 10-10. You can tell with teams that are like a good regular season teams that can get to about 10 wins. But if you're looking at a team that will get 10 or 11 wins and some pub and some hype, but then they're going to lose in the first round every single time, that could be both of these teams. And that's not a negative thing to say. It's just kind of reality. It takes a lot for these two teams to get out of the first round. And then you get frustrated because that's all you do over and over and over. Like at some point, it would be better just to be terrible, get better players, and then go for the stars, like literally for Dallas, instead of just hanging around mediocrity and 8-9, 9-8, or back when the schedule was 16 games, 8-8 or 9-7. Every once in a while, 10-13 wins, but then you fuck up and lose in the first round to a team that's got like 9-7. It's like tendencies, they repeat themselves. So it'd be cool for these two teams to be good one day. All the wide receivers and tight ends. Yeah, no, that's not possible. That is not possible. Samuel L. Jackson. Made some fantasy points. One of the best route runners that has ever graced God's green earth. Keenan Allen never gets love for a number 1 receiver. Him or Mike Evans. I don't know what it is. I get the bias or the hate towards Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, but it's ridiculous because when they're gone and everyone looks back at their career, whether you like the Chargers or you hate them, or you like the Buccaneers or you hate them, you're going to go back and look at those stats and compare it to your favorite wide receiver or someone that you really, really like. And then you compare their stats and the stats of those two guys, and you'll be like, oh my God, damn, they were good. And the consistency, that's what it's about. Route running for this guy right here, too. I need some more fantasy points, dog. I drafted you because I believe in you. You're the man. You have an injury problem, but I still like you. I took a chance on you, brother, because I believe in you. And you're a guy that can get me, 10 to 15 points. But Keenan Allen is so talented at the wide receiver position in fantasy. He can get you 30 to 50. How many guys can get you 30 to 50 not named Tyreek Hill? Be honest. Not many. Or Justin Jefferson. But he's that guy that he's not as famous as those other big names, but he puts in the production, baby. Let's fucking go. Fantasy points for your boy. Start of the fourth. Get him. Nice. Tony Pollard. Oh, baby. He's gone. The 30. The 20. Oh, baby. He almost went all the way. Oh, my. That was sweet. The one time that Dak Prescott actually does something awesome, right? Avoids the sack lunch, keeps his eyes downfield, decides not to run it around like Lamar. He's like, let me just dump it off to you nice and soft like Tony Romo, right in the breadbasket, and I'm going to let you do the rest. Tony Pollard's like, okay, let me see. Here we go. Spin me around. Then I hit the hole. Acceleration, speed burst. Hold that R2, R1 button down. Boom. First down. Cowboys. We them boys. I see you. That was impressive. Longest play of the season. I figured. That's the good. That's the, like, you want to talk about like when he does something that gets criticized every day, but it's, but when he does something good, we got to remember the good because that's what he does right there. You're not going to get that from just anybody. And I kept calling Jerry and I kept telling him, bro, I was like, Pollard is a better running back. I was like, I know Dak and Zeke are best friends, but politics alone, I was like, Jerry, dude, you could save money on payroll, put Zeke to RB2 or trade him. This is your guy. And they finally listened like 3 years later. But imagine if you would have got rid of Zeke before and then you could have used it on O-line. Then where would this team be? But he's more exciting. Zeke dances around a lot. He could still get you 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. But Pollard is more of the real running back. He runs harder, gets more yards per carry. There would be times where he was RB2 splitting time with Zeke. He would only get nine opportunities, but he got fucking 90 yards. Who the fuck does that? They're like, all right, Pollard, come in here. We're going to give you 9 touches. Good luck. Zeke's our guy, 20 touches. He's going to get 100 and a couple touchdowns. You're the RB2. And he's like, all right, fuck you then. Boom, give me 9, gets you 90 yards. Sometimes he even scores. I mean, why did it take so long to figure out a guy that's averaging 10 yards per carry and he's getting tutties as an RB2? Nah, we're going to go with Zeke. That's a best friend. Yum, 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 yum. That's a best friend. You got to be able to get past certain things. But they finally at least got it right. David Goldstein, he said, Philadelphia Phillies are going to go to the World Series. They are going to beat the Diamondbacks. They may even sweep them. When they go to the World Series against the Rangers, they'll probably win in 6 games. Champions, Philadelphia Phillies. And like I predicted and told y'all, if the Rangers go up 2-0, they're going to the World Series. 2 games, the first ones were in Houston. So now they're down 0-2. It's over for the Stros. I gotta put a little Dak love on here because there's not very many times he does something that's worth talking about, but that was sweet. Got to give praise and love. It may not be not everyone's America's team, but you got to be able to point out the good, so that way when they say stuff, Cowboy fans, you're like, you know what, you're right. Sometimes in the regular season, super clutch, keeps his eyes downfield. And Pollard is more exciting. He's a guy you would want in fantasy, right? You can see that the way that the offense flows. He's athletic. He's a good pass catcher. He can get you some PPR. He runs downhill. He's got good agility. He doesn't dance around like Zeke trying to make a music video. Every fucking handoff is not a music video for Drake. You need to go downhill. And then Tony Pollard did that. And then, But now they don't have as good of an offensive line that Tony Pollard needs to dominate. They need better O linemen up front. Like if you had the O linemen that were there for Zeke's rookie year, oh shit, then the team would be, yeah, they'd be winning 3-4 more games for sure. 3-2 Cowboys, 10, 2-2 Chargers, 10. You have a PhD in route running. 13:30 left in the fourth quarter. Cowboys offense 1 for 3 because they're not good at calm plays. The head coach is not good. You need to fire him. Get rid of McCarthy. Get rid of Dak. See how your life improves. But if you get rid of Dak, you just can't bring in a Kyler Murray. It has to be someone better. Like if you get rid of Dak, it's got to be Trevor Lawrence, or you get rid of Dak, it's got to be somebody Herbert. It can't just be anybody. Dak, someone that doesn't turn the football over. Like imagine if Michael Penix Jr. was on the Cowboys. They don't turn the football over. Throws a nice deep spiral. It's the Miami Dolphins of the NFC. It's weird, but it would make that team different. You'd have more belief. I'm excited to see where he goes. And even though the Oregon loss stung, I'm over it. And I've always been a fan of, Michael, and I'm going to be rooting for him to win the Heisman if it's not Caleb. And I hope that you guys run the table and beat everybody. I hope you guys go to the playoff and get to the championship game. Try to win the Heisman, try to win it all. If you lose in the playoff, get to the top 4 teams. Someone's got to represent for the Pac-12, and it may as well be a team like Washington if it's not USC, Oregon, or Oregon State. Like, run it, dude. Like, do it. That's my feeling. Most Ducks fans are like, fuck that. Right? They'd be like, fuck that. But I was like, it was awesome. It just sucks that it wasn't Bo Nix's fault. It was the coach's fault. Those are the losses that I never forgive. And you're always on my shit list. I'm like, I don't want you here anymore. First down, CeeDee Lamb, move the chains. Mario Cristobal, no. Dan Lanning, no. Rich Brooks, yes. Mike Bellotti, yes. Chip Kelly, the best. Everyone below that, garbage. No loyalty, stupid. Trying to pretend to be Chip Kelly. I mean, we were trying to play like that. Why don't we actually get the real Chip Kelly back? Me and Matt would love that. See that visor when I go down in the front row? Yeah. Chip, my boy. Pollard, 1-yard game. Cowboys just need a new face and a new energy, like a facelift. Like if Mike Tomlin ever got fired and then went to the Cowboys, then you could bring a team that could actually make the playoffs and do something. Because he would make the appropriate changes. That's who I want. Oh, baby. Touchdown, Cowboys. Brandon Cooks. Oregon State Beavers. He's kind of good. He goes everywhere. Wow. Brandon Cooks, Oregon State Beavers. Nice, dude. Hell yeah. A lot of Beaver fans right now are like, yeah. They might not even be Cowboy fans and be like, fuck them, but yeah, Brandon Cooks. You root for guys sometimes that, get concussed and, have injuries and, have to kind of fight for their spot in the league as their career gets older. Pick us up and it's good. There you go. All the fantasy points. Yeah, you got it. Like I said, your team, out of all the teams that are in the league, your team is the best team, I think, compared to mine, even though I have flaws in my running game. You have the pieces in your fantasy team exactly how I would line it up. Quarterback, very, very heavy running back, like heavy. don't need the greatest wide receivers, but still need ones that can at least one really good one, and then another one that could be like okay here and there. Try to have the beast tight end, and then try to make sure you have a very very good kicker and defense, and then also really good bench. Um, like for long-term success. Even if a few guys get hurt, you have so many other elite guys that you don't get hurt as bad as when some guys have elite and then we have to go to the good. We don't have an elite and then substitute another elite. When you have that ability to elite, 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 injury, 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 and then your bench is elite, 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 you're like, uh-oh. You're like, I didn't even lose a step. Like, fucking hey, look at this. I lost 3 out of my first 5 rounders for a little bit, boom, and then you got 3 other guys that put up just as much or maybe sometimes more. So you drafted good. You're doing this thing. And like I said, I spy on all your guys' teams. I mean, what do you think I do all day? I read, I do videos, I spy on your guys' shit. I fucking look at your team, I look at your bench, I compare it to mine, I look at the wire, I try to find any fucking gems, scrolling through fucking every position, looking at my dog shit running game. Now Montgomery is hurt. So now I literally have no running backs, but I'm still gonna win games. I'm still gonna run this shit. I'm gonna run this shit with no Montgomery, with Rashad White, who sucks. Okay. And then I got Jalen Warren because he's good PPR. He only gets me like 10 points, but fuck it, that's at least 10, right? A lot of the other running backs are not so good, not so reliable, So Demercado, I was thinking about starting. If I would have started him and got a 2.7 and lost, oh my god, I would have literally had a fucking meltdown. But yeah, that's going out the door. There's a few pieces that I need to make some adjustments. Reflect with a 5. Yeah. But like I said, out of Chiefs team, the bench, is very thin, and he's very top heavy with those 3 guys. And I just had the feeling. I didn't want to talk it to an existence, but I was surprised it happened so soon on our matchup. It happened, but it's like you have to have depth, and if you don't have the deep wide receiver, tight end, running backs on your bench, it's fucked. And if you don't have a backup defense or kicker at times, depending on the time or the situation, sometimes you're fucked. Like you got to make sure you have certain things there for insurance, and you have to look at every piece's value, and also blocking. And in Reflect's case, taking the limit in running backs is 10. He's got like 17. I don't know how many people we have in fantasy, 16 total, but there's all running backs on the bench. But not only that, they're all good. Like they're all pieces that I would pick up and use. Guys like Ford that could end up getting 10 to 20 points. He's just sitting there collecting dust, and he's just there for insurance, just in case some of the other beast guys like Raheem Mostert gets hurt. Boom, insert Ford, and then my team doesn't act as shitty. I like it. Good strategy. And then also you're blocking too. Depending on how many points you're getting with Kelsey. But remember, we're linked because I have Mahomes. So when you do good, I do good. So it's going to end up being in our favor. And depending on how our teams roll, we actually will bounce off of each other. Me and Sarah kind of, when we had our teams last year, we drafted kind of neck and neck. And a lot of the players, we were on a kind of an upward trajectory. So I feel like maybe you and me now, because if keep 4 teams injuries, depending on how much time Josh Allen misses, and then Devontae Adams injured, and then run CMC. This could be an opportunity where both of our teams take off, and we separate ourselves from the other group. So he's obviously still going to be there because this is his first loss for me. But if those guys are hurt, that could be if the bench doesn't get improved for him. You're going to lose games. I mean, you ain't going to beat no Reflect. I mean, especially if your guys don't get hurt. That team can put up 110 to 160, sometimes higher. I mean, oh shit, okay. I spy on your shit. Yeah. See, I do the opposite. I do insurance, but I make sure. So Mahomes, CJ Stroud. Normally, would I do that? No, but I'm not going to wait for Mahomes to get hurt, and then I'm left with fucking, some bullshit, Daniel Jones or something, and I'm fucked, right? So, and then defense, I like to be able to have 1 to 3. Sometimes I'll run 3 because I like to be able to have it set up for my upcoming month. So I got the best matchup. I look ahead in the schedule. Good, green. Oh, boom, boom, boom. All right, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to get this team a week early, so that way I don't have to worry about grabbing this defense or this kicker if someone gets them on the wire. I'll just grab them a week early, not use them, but I will use them next week. That's my strategy. But yeah, kickers, defense. Sometimes I have two kickers, sometimes no. Sometimes two QBs, sometimes no. Two times defenses, two or three, sometimes no. So tight end, I usually like to have 2 to 3 to 4, just because even if you have beast ones. Today, I mean, I was blessed, Laporta and Andrew, so you can't really get any better than that. So I got two out of the top four. Now I just have to decide if I play them both or if one gets benched. So sounds good. All right. I'll let you guys know what I decide to stream tomorrow. I'll do a poll probably, and it'll either be baseball or basketball or hockey. Herbert, first down. Chargers. Yeah, but I think a lot of them are delusional. They don't realize what's holding them back, or they're in denial mode. It's like Jerry. Obviously Dak situation. And the head coach and the play caller. Like McCarthy needs to go. Dak needs to go. And if Jerry was actually able to get someone like a Jimmy Johnson personality, then you might be able to turn it around. But you still need Dan Quinn there with Micah and so build there. And the offensive line is nowhere near what it used to be. So it's like you can have all these nice shining pieces, but if the O line isn't good, you're not going anywhere. And obviously, Dak doesn't play good in the clutch. He's not a good quarterback in the clutch. He's a good regular season quarterback. No one will deny that, right? 10 to 12 wins. But in the playoffs, you have a feeling that there's a good chance everyone thinks he's going to throw a pick or two or fumble. And when you have that, as like attached to your name, that, oh, you're going to fuck up instead of I'm going to get 3 touchdowns and 1 pick, or I'm going to get 4 and none. I'm going to win the game. And people are like, this guy's going to fuck up. He's going to Garoppolo this shit. 2 picks. He's going to fuck up. And then he does. And then he does it again. And he does it again, And sometimes it's a combination of the coach and the play calling, but also it's him, just not being clutch in the playoffs. Some people are meant to be leaders, and some have talent that can only get them so far. Flag on the play. Also, too, another reason why a lot of people don't realize, like the Cowboys love, at one point or another, they were one of the best dynasties ever, not just teams. So when you have like a 4-year stretch where you could have won the Super Bowl every year, and you were like the best of the best. I mean, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmett Smith, Leon Lett. I mean, those are like eternal. So of course, people want to get back, to being that. It's like Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, or Steve Young and Dion. Like, everyone has those memories on when those teams were amazing. You're not going to ever replicate that shit. 3rd down and 11. Herbert. Tipped. 5-0. Chief will chief, just killing everybody every week, dominating. I'm holding him to 79. You don't see that happen often. 5-0 team goes 79, but it happens, man. Guys get hurt, or you go up against a good matchup. I mean, hell, if anyone would have played Reflect this week, you would have lost. Literally had all 9 spots, like pretty much hit. Besides maybe kicker, and then points on points on points, no injuries. And then getting the most out of every guy. Oh, fumble. And the Chargers recover. Oh, so the Cowboys got it. Illegal touch. Keenan Allen and Mike Evans, sleepers on the fantasy. 21.5 points. Keenan Allen is playing like a top 5 wide receiver in fantasy, and he is, baby. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's either you were a Niner kid or a Cowboy kid. A majority, if you lived out here in the Pacific Northwest, if you weren't Seattle Seahawks, it was big. Or if you were like Raiders or something. But I mean, lots of Cowboys, lots of Niners, and there was a big reason why those starter jackets are so valuable now, and how that stuff is like so special. I mean, you can't duplicate that. I mean, watching Aikman and Irvin and Emmett, like when you watch them and Dion, like it was something that you knew you were never going to see again. Like it was just like you look in a dictionary on what football was about, and then you see Joe Montana and Jerry Rice doing their thing on one side, and then you see Emmett Irvin and Troy Aikman, and you're like, oh my God, this is like football gods literally put like the Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird kind of vibe, boom, right in front of your face, and then you're just like, okay, this is what you get to enjoy being this age. Thank you so much. Video game era, internet era, the best athletes in wrestling of all time. Thank you for letting me be born and seeing that with my own two eyes. Amazing. You got to find it, dude. You got to find it. Domino's. God, I was really craving pizza. Let's go, baby. Fantasy, 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 baby. Take a look to see if we got anything. All right, we got a sub. That's good. Two more subs to get to 20,100. So that's good. Moving in the right direction, not going backwards, going forward. Me grinding out and doing reaction videos too. Even if some of the matchups weren't the most sexy or exciting, a lot of the good teams lost to the bad teams. So, it's not the best, but, I'm going to grind and, I got to get it out there. Got to push it out. You never know. Even if you do a video and it doesn't have a whole lot, one person in that video could end up subbing or, being a future goat. So, yeah. That's why fantasy is tough to predict on who's going to pan out and who's not. And sometimes you can have a feeling, and some guys just fall. Like for me, I always draft not with like a predetermined notion. Sometimes I have a strategy, more running backs and more wide receivers. But usually I just let whatever happens and falls into my lap. I look at the across the board and I look what's going to benefit me the most. Who do I trust the most? And then I make the pick. So whatever talent is there, if I feel it's the best opportunity to take it now, because you guys will do it. If I don't, then I do it. And then I hope I'm smart enough to not be an idiot, and pick the right guy that doesn't get hurt or whatever. But I was more of a 49ers kid, but definitely that Cowboy team was something. And everyone talks about Troy Aikman, right? But there's other quarterbacks. The big part of it was Michael Irvin and Emmett Smith. I mean, people like Aikman was third out of that group. These guys were better. You could have Emmett up there with Barry Sanders, but even though some people might say Troy Aikman over Irvin, but Irvin was like had that swagger. He played wide receiver like Dion played corner and wide receiver. Definitely was a shit talker, but like the way he moved, it was like a big ass giraffe or gazelle, and you just knew he was going to score. He was physical. He would talk shit. He'd push your corner over. It was fucking awesome. It was like T.O. or Randy Moss, but a little bit more likable to some, but also some that hated if you were like a Niner kid, or a Niner fan. But like, it's like Rice on one side, Irvin on the other, like Aikman, Emmett Smith. Like, wow, this is like this Joe Montana. Like, this is fun. Like, that rivalry to me is like the best rivalry as far as sports to be able to like, that was cool. Lakers and Celtics was good too with Magic and Bird, but I think Niners Cowboys for a football fan back then, that was must see TV. Starter jackets galore. I mean, look at Irvin. I mean, just the photo speaks. Like, I don't even have to say anything, and you're like, oh, I can already feel like he's talking shit right there. It's the same kind of personality like Dion. A little abrasive, a little loud, but that's you got to have that swagger. Talk shit, back it up. You did, and I like you. Ooh, look at this one. Baby. Steve Young, Joe Montana, Troy. This is fun, man. And they had good offensive lines. Good defense, good coaching. Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, Bill Walsh, George Seifert, 17-10 Cowboys. Herbert, go to Keenan. Flag on the play. Gilmore is guilty. Great week, man. 159.6. The only thing that let you down a little bit was the kicker, but when you score that many points with like 7 or 8 pieces, you don't even give a shit. You're like you could get like a whatever. You already know you won. Of course you want your kickers to get close as 10 as possible, but that's very rare where you have a big week and all 9 hit. Sometimes it happens, but usually it's 7 or 8. But out of those 7 or 8, 3 are like massive, and then you're like, yeah, I won. Come on, Herbert. Let's go. Keenan Allen, baby. I already see the touchdown. But I'm watching it through the cable. Doesn't show it yet. Show it to me. First time you picked all the right players. Yeah, you did great, man. Like I said, I see a lot of myself and strategy in what you're doing. Like you're the one that's closest to how my brain works based on what you did. Oh, Eckler, he's short. Fourth down. Why has NFL got it the score adjusted? Extra point is up and it's good. Obviously, they're reviewing it. But why is I'm watching it through my cable on the computer and it's like acting like if I was watching it on a stream, like somewhere that I'd have to do with other stuff, where you have that 30-second delay. Shows you depending on the cable and whether provider you're watching it at. All the fans going crazy, losing their minds. Come on, baby. I want to be on the same spot as with remember like at the very first game in the beginning, like NFL.com and all the ESPN, everyone was like lagging. Like there'd be like first down, scores adjusted, and they didn't even have it fixed for like 10 to 20 minutes. Like, oh God, we gotta work. Fuck, we gotta change fucking numbers and shit on the website. Ah shit. Oh, I'm glad that they got it. I haven't peeked ahead to see if it's Keenan Allen. It'd be really sweet if it was. But I mean, and this look, I guess they're Kellen Moore, it could be, but they may run the ball. How about Keenan Allen with a touchdown for old doggy dog? What you say? What you say? Fantasy point, Keenan Allen, baby. Shotgun set, Keenan Allen. Oh, baby, what a play. Touchdown, Chargers. That was awesome. Gerald Everett, but it wasn't Keenan Allen. That was actually a brilliant play call by Kellen Moore. Sometimes you do stupid things. Sometimes you're stupid, right? But sometimes you're brilliant. And that was a brilliant play call. Good play design. Boise State quarterback. I'll see you. I don't know if anyone's going to give you a head coaching job after what you did there in Dallas against the Niners. Quarterback draw with Dak on the 50-yard line. No timeouts left. Not very smart. But that last play, I like it. So we're going to give you some love. It's good. You know, we got to be able to see how these guys look at coordinators and coaches. That way we can match a name to a face instead of just like a guy. Wire is thin as shit. You know, like I say, once it gets to a certain point, you know, you just have to wait for people to drop people to make room for other people, and then hope that you can grab one of those nice pieces that gets dropped. You know, and then every once in a while you'll get something that emerges. But I mean, at this point, with the smart people that we have, there's not. I mean, it's been cherry picked. It's been, you know, there's still going to be things that could be valuable, but maybe not necessarily every game. Like you might have to pick a guy hoping that he might hit once or twice in a month, not every week, you know, depending on if you want certain depth and whatnot. I'll be looking. I got guys I'm dropping. I always make moves every week, no matter what. Making moves, baby. We got to get her on the board. You know, I gotta like, you know, gotta find a way. It's like every situation that's happening. It's like, you know, if we had dumber people in our league, you know, I think Sarah would not be the record. If we had a bunch of, you know, idiots or just didn't know football, then, you know, like you could still start off like 0-5 and like turn it around. Because I've seen people that, you know, start off really bad and then eventually they can, you know, kind of turn it around. But she's like, I like Herbert, my cousin going crazy on TV. Hey, some of us love football, man. 17-17. Yeah, but only if the offensive line can actually run and block and protect and give that guy a good chance. Because I'm not sure if he's got talent by himself with a bad line to even get, you know, 5, 10 points. You know, I mean, it could be kind of a lower. Now, if you get in the end zone, if you get opportunities, but I mean, it also that for me, that's what, you know, looking at a player like that, I would have to read up on the health of the line before I make that choice. Injured, but he's coming back. It's not like season ending or anything like that. So he'll be back to splitting carries, but I would assume you have to, you know, monitor the injury report. Yeah, the Montgomery injury hurt. So yeah, every single person should pick up Chuba. That would be the smartest thing to do. He's like probably the most valuable piece that's sitting there. And that's not me lying. It's just the truth. You know, it's like you look at what he did. If you actually watch my reaction video or watch any of that game, like ran actually pretty good, better than Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is hurt. You know, if you need a guy that needs to, you know, could get 8 to 13 points, and your running back is, you know, injured like mine, yeah, that would be a good filler. You know, is it the most famous name? Fuck no. But if you're going to get me 10 to 13 points, fuck yeah, you're worth a roster spot. I just can't have you hitting a 10 and a 13 and then a 2. Like I need you to be consistent. So 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a snack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, but fantasy, you never know what's going to happen. Normally, the Denver defense sucks like it did against Miami. How did Denver defense play against the Kansas City Chiefs? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes didn't play very good. You know how I know? Because I got him in fantasy and he sucks. I fucked up. But now with Josh Allen getting hurt and then Jalen kind of struggling, now my Mahomes thing actually is starting to like maybe it was the right decision. Because now if Josh Allen's getting banged up, Jalen's banged up, maybe it'll benefit me having Patrick Mahomes. He'll find a way to get out of his funk and start putting up 3 touchdown passing games for me. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I need some fantasy out of Mahomes, baby. That's pump fake. CMC's career is over. Yeah, I got to read up on all those. But if it comes, I was just thinking, with Michael Penix Jr. reflect, if it comes down to Heisman or winning a national championship, just give the fucking Heisman to fucking Caleb. Boom, win it all. He's a team guy. That would mean way more for the school and the Pac-12, and just go all the way. But for second place, Heisman. But that's not important. Championship is the team and the legacy, way more important. Can you imagine, man, how cool that would be? First down and 10. Jet sweep. Rock for him. There we go. First down, Cowboys. Move the chains. Oh, got to get Brandon Cooks up here. He went to the Oregon State Beavers. Get used to that mug. That's Brandon Cooks. Very underrated. Injury prone, but hey, still can make some plays, baby. Hello, I'm Brandon Cooks. Nice job, Brandon. Represent Oregon State. They've been doing awesome this year. I fear losing to them this season. Like, no lie. And not even the embarrassment of losing like the Civil War, but just realizing that they're blossoming in front of my very eyes, that like they're going to be good. And like both teams being good in the state. We haven't had that in a while. And it's like be really huge for Oregon and Oregon State both to be like good football teams. $65 here, 35 to go. 17-17 all. I mean, two Tuas in the NFL with a chance of even being better than Tua. Oh my. Even if you're not even as good as Tua, you're still going to be good. You know, first down, Cowboys. Like, what happens if Penix Jr. is not as good as Tua starting off, but then after like year 3, year 4, boom shakalaka, best left-hander since Steve Young. How about that? How about that? How about that? Then Reflect would have like 4 jerseys: home, road, alternate, UW. All right, CD, I see you. No, you don't say, Matt. You don't think Oregon State should beat us? Maybe we should just let them have it. Hell, we might play our best and they'll kick our ass. Dude, like telling you, and it's Martinez. They got the fucking transfer at quarterback. You go lele, you go lele. Anytime you get a guy like that from Clemson, look at Dabo Sweeney. They're ass without him. They went from being relevant Clemson, top 5 team in the country, to who? Oregon State got them one. Oregon number 2, yeah. But Michael Penix Jr. number 1. Clutch, more talented, NFL caliber, Heisman moment. You got it. You are young Nola. Yeah, that's your alter ego. That's who you are. Yeah, that's incomplete. I hate it's like a win is a win, but it's like when you see numbers that are like low, I get irritated. You know, like some people are just happy with the win. If I don't get like 130 or more, I'm pissed. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like I set myself up for like projected for like 130, 140. Like I try to be projected number one or number two. And it's like when I see like shit in the lineup or on the bench, like I get irritated. You gotta have high standards in fantasy. You want to be the best. I see someone that betrayed me, like Tim Ricardo. See you later. You're going to rotate a bunch of backs. What if I would have started you and lost? I would have lost my shit. Thanks a lot, Cardinals. You couldn't be trusted. And the people are like, oh, he's going to be the guy. Connor's out. He's the one. All right, fuck it. I'll pick him up on the wire. And then almost started him. And then my gut said, don't do it. I can't trust him. And that was the right move. Didn't get very many points out of Rashad White, but at least it was Rashad White. 3rd and 9. Starting a fantasy running back at RB2 and getting 3 points or less. Not good. That's what would have happened. I'm like, look at me, RB2, 2.7, like a fucking idiot. And then you just got to pray that you win with a dumbass score like that, making me look like a fool. Jim Ricardo. Dummy. Oh, I've had to ban shit, man. I don't know, hundreds. I wish I don't wish I had their number for the sub count because, like, you could have imagine like what we have, but then having 300 or 400 just like the rudest people, and there's like people that are stirring the pot. So it's like you can have a bunch of people in the room, 100 people in the room at all times, but if you got 90 of them that are toxic, golly, like that's not going to be fun for me. That's a reflection of who I am and like my channel. It's like I don't want to be known for like a bunch of people, but everyone's an asshole. You know, it's like who cares if they're donating money? If they're assholes and they're ruining it for other people, that ruins it. That should ruin it for the host. But when they're making money, they don't care. I care. Dak. Brandon Cooks with the catch from Oregon State. Those Beavers are beaving. We damn boys. He's like, let me take your lunch money. Look at him. I can jump and I'm small like Steve Smith Sr. You didn't think I could jump. I make Dak look good. Dak's like, thank you. You do. You do. I should be replaced. You make me look good. So do you. But especially tonight, you. He's awesome tonight. Good for him. CD Lamb fantasy owners are like, fuck. Dak, ref is like in the way. Oh, let me hike it. Violation of the substitution rule. God, why can't I have a team like Reflex? Jesus Christ. Jalen Hurts, Brees Hall, Swift, Waddle, Kirk, Kelsey, Mostert, Detroit D, Aubrey. Some things have been picked up in the last 3-4 weeks. You did a great job. Saquon, Damian Pierce, Hopkins, Connor, Nico Collins, Ford, Goddard, Johnson. You literally have every piece that I would have on my team. There is not even your bench. Every single person on your bench, I would roster every single one of those as well. Stop getting into my head. Stop it. Very rare I find a team that I match up against and I'm like, Jesus Christ. Even your guys on the bench, I would own those guys too. Those would be on the roster. Those would be pieces I would definitely keep. Like 100%. Everyone. Stop it. That's my competition now. Obviously, Chief will still be, if he gets big numbers from Allen McCaffrey and Devontae, fine. But for the time being, we'll see what happens here. I got no fucking running backs, man. Nothing. I'm gonna have to purely win off my kicker, my defense, and then my wide receivers, and then pray I get anything out of the quarterback and running back position, and then try to dominate with my tight ends too. Yeah, but it doesn't matter that fucking Saquon's hurt. You got fucking 8 other suckers that you can insert in the lineup. Like Saquon hurt. Oh, Damian Pierce sucks booty cheeks. Like it doesn't matter. You got other guys in there that are better. Like who gives a shit if those guys ever play ever again? Who gives a shit if they're even on your roster? Brees Hall, Swift, Mostert. What the fuck is better than that? Nothing. Saquon, who cares? I wouldn't even play him. I'd be playing Ford and Connor over him if I was playing guys. Yeah, I mean, all the pieces are nice. I had Saquon last year, Josh Jacobs and Nick Chubb, and I got like a 13-1 record running those guys at RB1, RB2, and flex. And those were 3 of the top 5 running backs in the NFL last year. So that's how you win in fantasy. You take a guess, you gamble, you pray like a motherfucker that Saquon stays healthy for the year, and some miracle motherfucker did. And boom shakalaka. This year, not for you, but having Saquon and Pierce didn't hurt you. You still got guys like Ford that are just as good or better, and you got guys in the lineup like Mostert and Brees Hall. Like you got pieces that are going to be hitting, and they're hitting regularly, regardless if it's a good matchup, bad matchup. You just put them in the lineup. You forget about it. Boom shakalaka, 10 to 30 points. You know you're going to be getting that. That's a good feeling. I did that last year. I didn't even have to worry about it. Is there a 4th running back on my bench that I could substitute for the flex? Yeah, if I wanted to, but probably not. Oh, Pollard, what happened to my hands? Deck. Dak to Tony. But Tony's a running back, not wide receiver, Dak. Come on, bro. He wouldn't have stayed in bounds anyways. You think it's completely over if Hurts or Kelsey goes down or both? Oh, when we play each other, you looked ahead. You're like, oh, son of a bitch. The 1 week that I need to be able to play good, and then I got all the guys on a bye. I mean, that's how when I get to that point, I'm like, oh no, it don't even matter if I play someone that's got like 1 or 2 wins. It's like if they hit, I will lose because I got too many of my stars out. Like I don't even know how I'm going to recover without having Jay Jetta in the lineup for me at all. Like I am in pain right now. Now, no running backs, no Jay Jetta. Thank God I drafted wide receiver smart and it's working. And now I just have to beast up with the tight end and Mahomes and CJ Stroud. Pray to the sports gods. Running backs, stay healthy. I'll be running with Jalen Warren, 10 points for my RB2 because he's a flex. I put him at RB2 just to get 10, and then I got to use Montgomery, and now I got to use Rashad White or who knows, some jobber, praying that he can get me 10 points. And that's enough. Sometimes it is though. Sometimes you can get 10 points with your running back, 10 points with your running back 2, and still win. Sometimes you can get 10 points with wide receiver 1, 10 points with wide receiver 2, and you can still win. You can still win because what that means is that those other positions are putting up 20 to 40 for you. And it don't matter that you got 10 and 10, but that's good enough for the balance for the overall look, just in case your kicker or defense shit the bed. I just don't like seeing my running backs get like fucking 6 or like 7 or 8. Like, the fuck is this? What kind of fucking score is this? Well, I'm trying to win as many as possible. Every year I try to go 1 loss, 1 or 2, and see how far I can go. But Keenan Allen, baby. Yeah. LA Night, yeah. Keenan Allen, yeah. Flag, is it coming back, like holding on the offensive line? It's on Dallas. Good. Oh, yeah, yeah. But the thing is, it don't matter if I play you in the regular season and I beat you. What's going to matter is if I play you in the championship and you smoke and you beat the shit out of me. Like the first week, it's best of 2 weeks. If it ends up being 160 to 120, you won. I'm not going to be able to recover unless I get a 160 the next week and you get a 120. But usually, if you get a 160 in the first week, as long as you don't got all red in the championship, you're going to win. Like you get a cushion on that first game. That I don't care how good you are at fantasy. I've been there. It's hard to recover. You have to have like 200 on that fucking second week if you want to make up and win the championship. And how often does that shit happen? Once a season or never? Come on, Herbert. Yeah, but you don't need to get another quarterback at this point. I guess you can, but you like to wait until it's like, okay, the guy is he alive? Oh, he is. Oh, I got one now. But that strategy sometimes works. Shit, I did it with Mahomes to stack chips in the beginning because I was like, I need running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. I need to be able to get that extra piece that could be the difference in my team this year. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go as long as I possibly can with Mahomes until I get scared. And then usually it's by the time like the third or fourth week, the quarterbacks on the wire are getting shittier and shittier. And I keep looking at dog shit and it's just shit. It's just not good. And then it's like I'm looking at ranked and they're all like terrible, like 14 through 30. I'm like, oh golly. I was like, all right. And then you got to hope that someone drops something that's kind of good or someone that's right there that's just about to break out and then you grab them. But I did have Purdy earlier, and I dumped him because I had a feeling. And then I got C.J. Stroud, and I'm hanging on to him all year. So I'll have C.J. and Mahomes. Those are going to be my two guys. So plus, you like to have your guys. It's like fantasy. It's your personality, and it's like your guys. Sometimes you're looking at talent, but if there's two guys that are kind of similar, sometimes we'll go for the one that we personally like more. Like if Mike Evans and Keenan Allen are in a draft, some are going to go Mike, some are going to go Keenan Allen. And like for me, if I'm going a player, even though I have Mike Evans on my own team, I'm probably going Keenan Allen first. That's just. Yeah. And you got to think, then you're just doing it for like a matchup or two. So then you just got to hope that your running backs just beast out. And then if you do get like a 14 and you're like, God damn it. But if you win, no matter. You got to, oh, damn it. Baker got me 14 or point 0.2. But then if all your running backs get 30, you're like, oh shit, I won. It doesn't matter. As long as you got me over 10, that's what your brain is thinking. Okay, you suck, but it wasn't 20, but at least it was close to 15. And that's like kind of what you think you get 14 to 16. If he gets 17 and above, shit. That means Mike Evans and Godwin probably got in the end zone. So I was looking at him too, but he's not consistent enough. And I like having some of my own, but not too much. So I have to make sure I'm selective. So it's like I got Rashad White in the draft, Mike Evans in the draft, and then I picked up the Bucks team just because I feel in certain matchups I'm going to need someone other than Buffalo. Hello, and then Buffalo now looks like dog shit, but they're still getting fantasy points. So still top two, but I'm just waiting for that moment where Buffalo, I put them in and they give me a 2 in fantasy. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I was hoping for fucking 10 and you gave me 2. So I got to make sure I have that other D, at some point. It's cool to root for your own defense. I'm a defensive guy. Second down and 2. Come on, Herbert. Keenan Allen. Oh, it's from there. Dominant double sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Micah Patterson's. Oh, my. Big loss for 8. Go to Keenan Allen, damn it. Yep. And sometimes you do that. You go for the best defense against the shittiest quarterback. The kicker that has a good option against special teams that's shitty. You go for the matchup and then try to maximize your points. Intercepted. Wow, Cowboys are going to win. They didn't go to Keenan Allen enough. Well, the Cowboys' defense is better, right, than the Chargers, but it was a very close game. And then you got the big defensive play from Micah. My cousin there on the TV, she went from elation to just depression in a matter of like 10 minutes, thinking that the Chargers were going to win and just going crazy on camera. Just so happy, so ecstatic, and now just like, what? How did this happen? It's the life of being a football fan. You can be on top of the world and everything is great, and then all of a sudden, two plays later, you get your heart ripped out, and then it's over. You're like, fuck, I got to wait till next week now. Micah playing like a defensive player of the year candidate, like he's supposed to. Well, they should have won this game. You don't want to say you're complete dog shit and you can't even beat the Chargers. Dan Quinn, he's the real MVP. The Cowboys don't have Dan Quinn, they're fucked. Could you imagine with them with no defense? Shit. That team's only winning 7 games. Quinn gives you an additional 3 or 4. He's like, look at me, I'm kind of good. And he does give you that Deion Sanders, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmett Smith vibe. Like 11 is going to go down in Cowboy history for like forever. Like, people that rock that number, there's like Micah, like 22 is Emmett, 88 is Michael Irvin, Deion 21, 11 is Micah. Like, that's what you have to do. Like, have those TJ Watt, Max Crosby type of performances. So, he says, time for the Dak attack. Chief, well, Chief, I got you in fantasy. I told you those guys that are very top heavy. I said, if they get hurt, me and Reflector coming after you. And then bing bong, bing bong. And then I got you. I got him. I got you. But you still got like 4 or 5 fantasy leagues that you're probably doing amazing at. So one league, I got you, but you're doing better in a bunch of other leagues. So, and you're still, have an amazing record. But me and Reflect, we're coming, baby. Around the corner. Around the corner. Like the Detroit Lions is right around the corner. The Niners and the Eagles. Here we come. Hey, brother. JJ. I got to get you, bro. And I was pissed. I lost David Montgomery. I have no running backs. It sucks. You know what I'm saying? I should be all like excited, right? I'm like, oh, I got T14. David Montgomery got hurt. No, I got to be stuck with Jalen Warren, Rashad White. No, but that's my life right now. Mahomes isn't playing good in my fantasy. Ah! Lamar Mahomes. Lamar Mahomes. Anything that you want to see, Chief or Chief? I need to I need to exercise. I don't know if it's raining still out there. Spend time with Paisley, but I can hang out here for a few minutes since you just came in the room. I don't know how long you have, but I can stay on for another like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes if you guys want to look at some photos here after the post game. Big win for the Cowboys, 20-17. And then whatever you guys want to look at photos, just fucking type it in the chat and I'll stay on here for another like 10 minutes or so. And then I think I'm gonna hop in the DeLorean and then figure out what I want to. I got some reading to do. I already did 5 reactions today, so I'll do some more tomorrow. And yeah, then we got to decide what we're doing tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow? Are we doing basketball, baseball? Are we doing hockey? Like I can do. I got to look to see what's going on here. I need to get Chief a photo. I was going to get you a photo even if you didn't donate, but I know you're going to donate because you support because you're a real one. And I appreciate you. You're a lifer. And I like having the Chief presence on the channel with you and Odin's son, which is nice. And I just got to give it to you guys and keep it 100. I want you guys to do good. But also too, you can't feed into all those other Chief fans that are like a little delusional, thinking that everything is completely fine, nothing is different than what it was before. Sometimes when flaws get exposed, you got to be able to get those out in the open. That way you can fix the fucking problem. That way you can get back to the Super Bowl and win again, and not like act like the problem doesn't exist and then suffer. Got to fix that shit. Because I need points with Mahomes. That's the number one thing that matters for the Chiefs, not them winning the Super Bowl, not Taylor Swift. It's Doggy Dog having Mahomes in fantasy, picking him third, and not getting the results that is needed to be a champion against Chief or Reflect. It's unacceptable. I am not good enough. I need to be on this level, or small level. Okay. Chief, oh chief. Bang, bang, bang. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks. Cactus jack. Bang, bang. Thank you, bro. What do you want to see for Chief players? Get some fucking Chiefs on the goddamn channel. Huh? What do you say? What do you want to see, brother? And it could be a throwback player, whatever you want. But I was like really pissed, because you haven't been playing well. But now Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts are like kind of banged up, and normally I would go that route. So maybe I just need to stand tough. And even though I know that you're not playing the best football, and I have high standards for you, that you are going to turn it around and still prove that you are the number one quarterback. So that way I don't make a mistake and look like an idiot by picking you in the third over Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts. I need the championship, and I need it with you. Even if you don't go to the Super Bowl this year, I need points, baby. You know I did. Ooh, Chiefs, Chargers, Mahomes, and Herbert. Oh yeah, that's a game that you can win. Because the Chargers have all this glitz and glam. You know what I mean? But you know how it goes. Like every game, it's like very close, but just not close enough. This is Chief right there, flexing on all his haters. Haters, 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 haters. You know who's been the best so far for you guys this year? Oh yeah, Pacheco, 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 Pacheco. He's been nice. Like he's giving you more fantasy points than you anticipated. He's playing well. It's like Travis Kelsey and Mahomes. Injury with Kelsey, Mahomes is a little off. Andy Reid with no enemy. But the one thing that you like knew that was going to be good and has exceeded the expectations of the Chief fans and the NFL fans and me. Pacheco, 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 Pacheco. Tell me I'm wrong. This is the one bright spot for Chief fans. They're like, yes, this guy is good. Oh yeah. He's like, let me turn into him real quick. And then all of a sudden he's got like, one game with like 8 catches and a touchdown. And then he's got a couple games where he's got like 3 catches for 40 yards, like maybe 3 or 4 points in fantasy. And he plays you, and all of a sudden it's 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. You're like, holy fuck, what happened? And then the game goes in overtime. And that's why I drafted Pacheco. I know, that's why I brought it up. You're smart. That was a good pick. It was not only a homer pick, but it panned out because it was a homer pick for you. I want to have my own player. I'll pick at him, right? And then it like exceeded your expectations. You're like, hell yeah! Like this was a good pick by me. Like this actually, like he's my guy, but he's actually putting up more fantasy points than anyone expected. This is good. Life is good. I'm 5-0. Life is good. I wish I had him. Anytime I look at someone doing good, I'm like, oh, you sucker. He's doing awesome for you. I was like, I wish I had that. I'm gonna turn into jealous dog. I'm like, I want that. Shit. Then he's gonna be like Kyrie or like almost unstoppable. Like screen passes, runs, just using him all over the field, jet sweep. Like who the hell knows how he's gonna get the ball and they're gonna move him around. Like the ultimate chess piece. Like a Debo, but like better, as far as like maybe where you can use him. Because Debo's like, I don't want to run the ball anymore if I'm not getting paid. Right? He's part of the hands team. Kind of good. That's why when you watch a lot of football, you can have those vibes, and like I don't have to be a Chiefs fan to know what's going on. But every Chiefs fan is like, there's no bad words that you can say. Like there's all like, dude, this was awesome. Good old Isaiah. If your name Isaiah, you're usually pretty good. Isaiah Thomas, two versions. Isaiah Pacheco, kind of good. Fucking Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, he's nice. If I knew he was going to do this, I would have drafted him 100%. I don't think he was there when I wanted to draft him, though. I think he was already gone. You got him early. I like Pacheco's hair, swaggy, good length, looks like a competitor. Certified G, bona fide stud. And you can't teach that. The chitta. It's cool to be able to put a name to a face because most people don't even know what the hell he looks like. You know, a lot of the guys, unless the person like gets their helmet knocked off or they're on the sideline getting a treatment or something or getting a drink. But it worked out pretty good, you know, Tyreek leaving, and you got someone that's kind of like a Tyreek, like you really looked out, you know. I mean, most teams are never even going to have a Tyreek, let alone getting another guy that has similar traits. Oh, for sure, because he's the most consistent piece. I mean, we love consistency, right? We want to be able to see, you know, people, you know, do it over and over again on a high level, not just every once in a while. An Isaiah Pacheco showcase, which I don't mind doing. Good. I know talent when I see it, and especially if it's like, oh shit, I mean, I fuck if this guy was available. Swag, 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 swag. Chief with a fiver. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Anything else that you want to see? And my account actually got overdrawn. It's kind of I want to say it's not hilarious because everyone's gone through it before. You know, I'm not like rich or whatever. Sometimes I have money. Sometimes I pull it out. Sometimes I pay a bill. Sometimes there's only a couple bucks sitting in there, and I'm just waiting for cash app to put some money in there. And then you know when you have like fees that other stuff that come out like your monthly membership stuff, and you get like a notification, you're like, oh shit, -20. That's not good. But we solved that problem tonight, so that's good. And as long as I get it done either tonight before tomorrow, then there's no like fee. Nothing worse than like overdrafting and then you're like $38 late fee or overdraft fee. Fuck my life. You're already in the hole, like whatever. And then on top of that, another like $40. Like who do they think I am? Elon Musk? And the chief will chief. $5 holla. Bang bang. Boom boom. Bang bang. $5 towards the overdraft fee fund for your boy. You're electric, brother. $25 more to hit the goal. But if we don't, it's okay as long as I'm in the positive and I don't overdraft. Um, but I know some people get hit hard with it. I mean, if I got overdrafted $38, this is who I would turn into. I'll be like, what? What did you, what? 38? And I can't, there's nothing I can do. You just, that's, I have to pay it. Like, that's when you have to go and look for a new bank. Oh, Tampa Bay, Darth Maul. It's a good combo. Anything else that you want to be able to see? Otherwise, I'm going to spend some time with Paisley. I'm going to go and exercise and I got to eat dinner and I got to read. I got to look on the fucking wire and look at all a bunch of bullshit, and then yeah, lots of other things. But I definitely can. Anything else that you? Yeah, I try to give you stuff that I've never showed before. I've been saving some stuff and some stuff I can find on the fly. But like, I've shown this. This one has been shown, right? But um, got to hit with the spinning logo. Everything looks better with the spinning logo. Once the spinning logo goes away, like life has changed. Like, how did we not have this like years ago? And sometimes you have to crawl before you walk to find out the swagginess that other people wish they had on their channel. And then you start giving you the flashy. Like, you can have the transparent logo, but nothing is better than a swaggy, transparent, spinning logo with your favorite team and favorite player. It's like the most magnificent thing ever. Like, there's nothing cooler. I don't give a shit what anyone says. There's going to be nothing cooler than that. That's the very, very top. That's the pinnacle. That's climbing Mount Everest. It's not going to get any better than spinning logos. We have reached the fucking mountaintop. Okay? Nice hair. Swag. I'd be his friend. I'd be like, yo, running like Tyreek, brother. Yeah, thank you for coming through and supporting. I appreciate that very, very much. And I'll throw up a couple more here as we're just kind of winding down and whatnot. I can throw up. So you want to see something for food? Should we do like at least one photo of food before I go? We want to have good mental health, right? So that way, that lasting image at the end of the stream is like your favorite shit, and on top of that, right? Then maybe something delicious. Boom in your face. Boom shakalaka. If you didn't think about having nachos, I made your mind change. Now you're like, motherfuck. Now I have to get some in the next 3 days. Maybe right now. Maybe tomorrow. Thank you. You're welcome. You'll have a fantastic time. Just thinking about, God damn it, I wasn't even thinking about that. That didn't even cross my brain. But you know what? Now I visually see it. I'm going to go and get the best that I can find, and I'm going to make a meal of it. I'm going to watch a show while I eat it, and it's going to be fucking great. And that's how you make memories. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's go. Let's go. You can't tell me that gumbo. I don't give a shit if you ever get to go to New Orleans or anywhere else that has like authentic stuff. But you can't tell me that doesn't look insanely good. That just like screams Flavor Town. Like, I literally want to go to Nolans now. I can't wear my Buccaneer gear because everyone will try to fight me because they think that I'm like every other Buccaneer fan on planet Earth. But I would love to go to Flavor Town. That might be number one on my destination, like dangerous, scary. Yeah, it's going to be crime and crazy, but the food and the culture, I mean, we're talking top notch. Delicious. Shit, I'm hitting you fucking grand slam after grand slam after grand slam. Hitting you with the steak fries to start it off because I know you. Okay? Now you love the fries, nachos, everyone's best friend. Boom, chicken, never go wrong. Gumbo, you're welcome. Now you're gonna watch Gordon Ramsay for 3 hours or Guy Fieri. You're welcome. Boom, crab cake, amazing. Change your life. Change your life. See? Imagine how we felt prior, right? And then now, it's like just like wrapping up the stream and just being able to look at a few like delicious things that maybe we haven't looked at in a minute. Trying to go like a little bit different, with the vibe, giving you a little bit of maybe, a little option, you know. So we started off right with the steak fries, something good as we end the stream, giving you some ideas. Right? Then we got the nachos. I mean, if you haven't had nachos in like a couple weeks, probably do for one in the next 3 days. Okay. Boom. Chicken this weekend might be a plan. Gumbo. Well, unless you live in Nolens, you're not getting any, but it looks good. Boom. Crab cake. Hopefully you live somewhere that's got some good stuff on the East Coast or West Coast. Boom. Dessert. Strawberry cheesecake. Top of the line. Boom shakalaka. Taste buds. Flavor Town. Treat yourself. Buy some shit. You'll love it. You're welcome. Did I cover all the bases there? I think I covered all the bases. So a little bit, and it doesn't have to be everyone's favorite, but you get the idea. Even if it's not a cheesecake, but something that you normally don't get. Crab cakes, baby. Oh yeah, and even can hit you with the top end, right? The high end. Not crab cake, crab bite with the extra flavor town on it. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And they hit you with the crab rangoon. Boom. And then cap it all off. If you haven't had some in a while, I'm going to leave you with this. It would usually be pad thai, right, or this. I'm going to leave you with this. This is the Matt Payton special, the Hawaiian food. You get it. You haven't had it. You got a place near you that's got it. Get it in the next week or so. It'll be good. It's solid. It's always a good meal. Always tastes good. Hawaiian food. Boom shakalaka. Review. Steak fries. Eat it. Nachos in the next week. Boom. Done. This weekend, football, barbecue, chicken, possibly. Gumbo looks good. Can never have it unless you live there. Crab cake, yes please, like 3 of them. Crab bites, 20. Crab rangoon, 5. And then the Hawaiian food. Treat yourself. And then Hawaiian food. Boom. I just got ideas right there. Not burger. Didn't have to be taco. That's what we do here. Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go exercise and spend time with Paisley, eat. Thank you to everyone that donated, commented, shared. Is there any last minute things that we need to do? Did I cover all the bases? I think did we cover everything? I think we did. $25 short, but we got 3/4 of it. That's good. Had fun, hung out. I won't be in the negative. That's the best part, right? We still have some money in there instead of not being negative, right? That's negative sucks. Negative, not good. This is what you turn into when you get negative bank account. Not good. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you to everyone that donated, commented, shared. You guys are the best. I'll be going live tomorrow. I don't really know what we're doing yet, so I'll have to look to see if we're going to do baseball or hockey. Probably not NBA just yet, but it'll probably be baseball or hockey. So I'll have to look to see what we got, and then I'll do a poll whether we do Kraken or if we do baseball, and then whatever won, and we'll talk about it, and we'll figure it out. We'll message each other and figure it out there and whatnot. So appreciate you guys very, very much. Final score: Cowboys 20, Chargers 17. Great win for the Cowboys. Tough loss for the Chargers. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Gang.